Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks, not Fat Albert. I was just kidding about that whole thing, man. But this is another episode of the PowWow. Thanks for tuning in. It's your boy Jay Banks. I got my guy AI over here. What's cracking,
what up,
bro?
guys? How we doing?
What's going on?
Man, I'm excited today,
I almost
man.
dropped my sangria already, 10 seconds in.
Yeah, no party fouls here.
No, sir.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Turn that sound down.
You in the feedback loop, baby.
Hey,
Man,
all right. So,
what a day we got, though. We got the boy up here. He's about to show us what's up.
Yeah,
man.
Matt Waters in the building.
Hey,
what up, players?
How we doing? What up, man?
Dude,
how you doing?
I love your vibe, man. Every time you come in here, I just like it's almost like this like warming feeling when you come in. Like
Thank you,
everything's
man.
back to being cool again, man.
Yeah.
Well, every time I try to bring a little bit of liquor, so it seems like I'm putting out some good feelers.
Is that how it gets all warm in here?
Last
bro?
time
I
I was
get that
in,
warm feeling.
we were drinking champagne last time I was in here. I don't know why we were drinking champagne, but we killed a bottle last time, and it was a good vibe.
That's funny, man. We just grab whatever's available, dude, in the back room and just pull it out.
Yeah,
and
we get the party favors going. That's all that matters, man.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
gifts
Right?
are gifts. I mean, I got a little margarita in a cup. You got some sangria. We're getting tropical up in here.
You brought some Cancun booze down, man.
Dude, and there's only one Cancun that does it. It's the one over in Villa Hills. Don't crowd my local establishment, but I would recommend.
All right, so Villa Hills is like you live over by there.
So I'm splitting my time between my apartment with my fiance over in Villa Hills.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
man.
man.
It was a much needed step, and I feel like I chose the right lady for my life, so it feels good to be there. But then I also have my studio space and my space with my folks out in Blue Ash. So
Oh, okay.
I'm crossing that river every day, doing what I can.
You got two ends of the spectrum over there, man.
Dude, I'm cool with it. You know, it's the same kind of suburbia on both sides. I dig it. I just need grass. You know.
For sure, bro. That's the one thing I'm missing right now is grass, man. Like I need my own little piece of property, bro. Like I miss cutting the grass. I miss like I want my dog to have some land before he gets too old to run, man. You know what I mean?
And there's also like this feeling of like your personal little plot where you're responsible for it. Like I don't mow the lawn a lot, but when I do, it gets real out there. Okay, I appreciate those little specks. And it's like I've been also doing my yoga outside a little bit more as it warms up. It's like that's just good for the heart, man.
Dude, you are like I said this earlier. Like I don't know if it was like the way you were raised, but like you are cut from a different piece of cloth than everybody I've ever met, man. Like you're light years ahead of your age. What are you, like 25, 26 now?
I'm going on 26, dog. They're taking away my health care, and I don't like that shit. Dude, it got so real last month.
Isn't that such a like? What are you supposed to do? All of a sudden, now you gotta not go. I mean, like,
Well, dude,
what's about that, man?
There's a crazy question to be asked there of like, you know, you don't want to call yourself sheltered, but like I had good parents that took really good care of me. But then 26 hits are like, your parents can't protect you from this world, son. Okay, you pay the
Right.
dollar bills, and you have no dental plan. Okay,
Right.
I'm a freelancer, so I got to live that life.
That's funny, bro. That's the
Right.
truth too, man. Like you know, they kind of just throw you to the wolves, and they don't teach you that shit in school either, man. Like how to like balance checkbooks and do like normal stuff that like the everyday stuff that we need to do.
Yeah.
You know, as an adult, man, they forgot to teach you that in school.
Yeah, they teach you arithmetic.
You know, but like you look at the lineup of things that they were committed to teaching you, and you know, systematically we have to have a certain approach. But when you have a couple of those teachers that like, now I'm an adult and I'm starting to call some of my teachers from high school and just say what up and get a drink with them. It's like, I'm so grateful for the particular group of people that did raise me, that did show me what the real world could be.
Yeah.
If you stuck to your guns, if you surrounded yourself with folks that were as motivated and ready for what the world had to offer as you wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to turn around and see that, you know, you were one of the fortunate ones for whatever you got. Count your blessings wherever they might be. But I'm stepping into this life of just making music and having that be my only thing. And I know that's because I stand on the shoulders of giants with great folks and a great upbringing.
For sure, bro. And the thing about you, man, is you really have this like old soul, right? You're a young guy, but like I would almost put you in this like small category of like, they call them Zennials, right? It's people that grew up without the internet that know how to implement the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only like an 8-year window of people that like, it's like 77 to 84 or something like that. But like somebody like you, I feel like, and I don't know if it's just the way that you were raised, but like you've got a lot of like old soul in you. Even the like the blues music and that like funk that you bring to your music, bro. Like it's not normal. It's not like an everyday thing that you hear. But like for you being, I met you when you were 22, going on 23 years old, and you already had the blue check, and you're already on these moments of like, who's this kid, bro? Like 22 years old, you're over here like. And it was funny because, when we did the wing contest in the old store,
Dog.
there was somebody on the other side of they were in the actual Native store who was hearing your music, and he was looking around, texting me, going, "Dude, what is going on in that back room? I need to know who's playing this music right now." And I was like, "Yeah, it's my guy Matt Waters, dude. Like, you gotta check him out." And he was like, "Dude, I want to book this guy. I want to like follow him. Like your music is just, it's got that right like." Good vibe, like summertime jams to it, man.
Thank you,
know,
man.
And that's the thing is like you can tell when you're on stage too. It's not just a set. Like you end up going in this zone where you'll close your eyes and you'll just get in this groove where like, and that's that real musician coming out, man. It's not just play it by the book, bro. Like you're just you're doing your own thing when you're on stage too, and it's insane to see, man. At such a young age.
Well, thank you, man. Like I think you hit on something cool where it's like. There were some of us that came into an age of the internet that gave you more access to why you would use it. In a time where like all my friends struggled to hit their max followers in high school on Instagram for just being who they were, I was starting to look at that like as just my brand. I had just put music stuff on there, so I got to live my life outside of the internet, my personal world. Like. My relationship to my family, my relationship to my friends was not what they saw on there because that was just my work stuff. And as much as that is like an all-consuming part of it, like the best thing about my gig is that I love having this eccentric group of homies that I go to for the ins and outs of my day. Whereas you might call HR about what's going on with your job, I call Jay Banks because I'm out of T-shirts, dog, and I'm going to New Hampshire next week. Like. There's so many benefits to like the entrepreneurial opportunity that's come along with being a kid that was handed Facebook, handed Instagram at a young age, and just told like figure out what your personality is going to be on there. How are you going to make your impact in it?
Right, bro, and you're doing a great job at it too, man. It's one of those things where. You've got the weekly
wave,
yeah.
And then I also got the Mondays Muse. And it's like, we all try our hand at internet shows because you never know what's going to catch somebody, but
for sure. But it's that content that you put out, man. It's it's consistent content. If you can do it once a week, before you know it, you're gonna build an audience that you didn't realize that you had. And that's especially if you do it twice a week, man. You're doubling down on what you're good at, and you're also learning, right? So the editing gets easier, the uploading gets easier, the whole nine. It's like a learning process, man. And it's really impressive that you've have taken yourself and branded it the way you have. I keep thinking, man, it's like this dude, like when Jason Mraz sees you, it's going to be over with, bro. And you were like, oh yeah, that's what was the song?
Dude, I'm Yours was the first song I
I'm
ever learned to
Yours.
sing as a kid.
Yeah.
And so he was like, that was what made me like wanted to play music. And I'm like, what, dude? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I was working at the radio station when that song came out, man.
Right.
But when you see through someone like that, like when you can spot, the people that motivated you to get out of bed and do that shit. It makes you feel so affirmed by this path in life, and
yeah.
and the list of all of our heroes goes on to endless extents. It's like you can never tell who's going to inspire you to be the greatest version of yourself, but like find someone to obsess over, to admire their ethic, and then take that to a level that they would have never seen. It's like if I wake up every day and I look at a picture of Prince, and I know that's the shit that I got to get after, I'm going to end up in a pretty good spot because that's the guy that would work himself to death. Like that's the GOAT,
Yeah,
know?
he did literally everything.
Literally.
Everything. He did across the table. He made his music. He performed his music. He broke down the staff for his music. Everything end to end, that man did it all. So like if you can strive for even half of where he's at, dude, you're ace in the hole. You know what I mean? Like, and those are the type of people. You're the Michael Jacksons of the world. You know what I mean? Now we got Post Malone, who like you're looking at like his life is pretty much documented, and he's pretty much showing people like, dude, I'm just a regular guy, but yet at the same time he's putting himself on another level. Like by hey, I'm gonna look iconic. I'm gonna have an iconic sound. I'm gonna be big as the world, but at the same time, let's talk about Bud Light.
Bro, seriously.
Right. Like, let's talk about Bud Light.
Yeah.
You can buy Bud Light. I can buy Bud Light. We're both drinking Bud Lights at different places, but guess what? Come check out a show. And like that level of like normalcy with the level of like, I don't know, like iconic.
It's a good way to connect to your fans.
Yeah, for sure. And
dude.
he's got it in that pocket, perfect. So like, yeah, like Prince didn't have that same kind of like social media world that he was in, but like, there's people that are just coming out that just show another level that no one else can get to. And if you can get to half to where they're at, because they have teams, right? They have teams.
Yeah.
But like on the base level, the grassroots level, they're thinking out of the box in a world that's already been created for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like you do the same thing. Like I see your social media posts. I see how creative you are. And there's a bunch of other musicians in Cincinnati that are talent out the ears, man.
Yeah.
But yet they may not have that same presence that you're putting out, that Matt Waters puts out. I always think of like the Matt Waters experience. Every time I think like I wanted to put on
that's the truth too.
Yeah, I wanted to put on a show. You got booked up through your thing, but I wanted to put on a show, and I wanted the whole night to be the Matt Waters experience on the rooftop of the Madison Live. I had this whole like plan out in my mind, but it didn't work out. It maybe another time.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
but like it's one of those things where you can offer that other people may not be able to, and that's a unique pocket that you can run to the bank with, man. Like it's awesome for real.
For sure. When I think you hit on something cool where it's like there's moments that we all possess excellence. We're all folks of great potential, and if you choose to envision yourself with your fullest potential, you'll reach it to some extent. You will at least scratch at the surface. But if there's one thing we can all do in a great way, it's to admire the people that we see in these statures of excellence. So whether it be curating shows with kick-ass bands, whether it be picking your merch to be coming from places that you know are top-notch and you're going to take it to that level, it just embracing this community that we have here, because in the age of the internet, you don't need to be in a media mecca like in LA or in New York City. You can call home, and you can shout from the mountaintop about that shit. It doesn't need to be just yourself. It can be all the artists that you admire around you.
Yeah.
So thankfully,
100%.
when you talk about the experience, it's like, if you want to take it back to Hendrix and the man himself, it's like, that's not just Hendrix. That's these trios that he chooses.
Yeah.
That's these bandmates that are these out players that choose to carry him in that regard and to give him that kind of stature.
100%, right. And that's kind of where it came from. Like I was just thinking, like it's not about the level of guitar playing or singing. It's just a moment in time when everyone is there and they're all in the same register mentally, and we're all there, and like because we understand that who we're coming to see is this lighthearted, fun, catchy music, but at the same time, it's about the life that they're living, and we're trying to all align our stars at the same time. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with certain artists. Certain artists kind of fall into that pocket where their music is just the fans just level with it. They can relate to it, even though they may not be able to play it. Because you won't expect someone to play it, but you want someone to be like, hey, can you vibe with me? You can vibe with me. Let's make an experience. And that's the night that we're not going to forget, because the next time you're going to bring all your friends, because you're like, dude, you can't miss this experience that I had watching him. Oh, it's just a guy playing guitar and singing on stage. It's more than that. It's more. Whether we have vendors, there's an event going on, and it's like this guy he just gets it. He gets it.
That's a really interesting point to make, because in the world we live in now, where instead of telling my friends about how good of a time I had, I show my friends on my story in real time. At a point in time where it's not about reminding them to sharing that with me, it's about telling them that they missed it. Unfortunately, social media has led us to a world where you feed off your friends' FOMO. You kind of want to lead them into these places where you got to do something that they had no chance of.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back. Sorry, man. We had some people at the front counter trying to buy a hat, and we're over here having a good time over here on the podcast.
Dude, speaking of hats, so this is my proudest piece of native merch.
You know what, bro? And I appreciate it because I see you rocking that all the time, man.
It's the only hat that isn't absolutely every time I see it. You know, I change my outfit to put this shit on, and when I wear it outside of this city, people have no idea where I got such a cool MTV hat. I'm like, no, look closer and appreciate that I got someone that you have style, you have the gusto to go after, you know, not a trademark, but like something sweet like that where it's so distinguished.
Oh, bro, we play that line hardcore, man.
Yes.
So we actually we just got busted for the Bass Pro Shop hat.
Cool.
So and that's what I say, bro.
And hot damn, I'm looking at a rack of this shit.
Fuck them, bro. Like honestly, that's at the end of the day. It's like I'm. In order to be a cool company, you've got to press the boundaries, right? And it's like people ask like, well, how do you get away with doing that? It's like because we got the balls to do it, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Until
it.
you get a cease and desist, you don't need a lawyer, you know. Like, but when you get it, you need a good lawyer. Okay.
And that's so we're at that point right now. So if there's any lawyers listening, I've got a couple on hand, but.
I got the city's best. I'm telling you right now, I got a great lawyer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
all right,
he's the man. We'll talk.
We're gonna talk after the podcast for sure. But it was one of those things, man. Where like I the Bass Pro Shop hat. Like people ask us like, how do you get away with doing those logos? It's like, bro, we don't get away with doing it. We press the boundaries, and then if we do get a cease and desist, then possibly that hat's gonna be worth more down the road than it is now, right?
Yeah.
And if I've got to pay a fine to Bass Pro Shop to make it happen, then we'll pay the fine to make it happen, and we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna do Marlboro. We're gonna do all these other logos.
Dude, the Marlboro was a sick call. I remember walking in the old store and you had those T-shirts in the front rack. It's like there's just certain things where you're playing with people's expectations.
Oh yeah,
especially when it comes to these large brands, but you do it in a way that feels like you're re-embracing your home. While also doing that, when I wear this hat, I know I'm trolling people to ask me about this hat.
Oh yeah,
and I get to tell them about my boy Jay Banks, and I get to tell them about the Native brand. But there's something about that discomfort that's way more real than any kind of reinvention of the wheel.
Oh yeah.
You know, how many ways can you frame a T-shirt where I don't care?
For sure, dude. And that's the thing. Like for us, man. Like we want to separate ourselves from the local T-shirt companies, right? Because I'm trying to compete with Nike. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to compete with Adidas, right? I'm not nearly on their level, but how do you get up there? You gotta poke the bear to get there, right?
Facts.
So that's the MO right now. Is we're just sitting here poking every bear until somebody bites back, and then as soon as they bite back, then we're gonna go whoop. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Dude, and I think that it's easier to notice that in industry that is, you know, tangible and physical and mainly visually based. It's like you got to mess with these visuals to kind of get that that reaction out of people. Whereas in music, if I hear a top 40 song that stands out, I YouTube how they made that sound and I steal it. You know, like
you make it your own for sure.
Exactly. But we have this utility that is more heard than seen, you know, more heard than felt. So you can get away with that in other ways, whereas this is about playing a little bit more hardball, and I gotta respect that about you, man.
Well, I appreciate it, bro. And that's the thing, man. Like, you know, we're just trying to get to the next level, and it's like, how do you get to the next level? And we talk about it all the time, bro. Like, how do I get to the point where my company can sell $210 hoodies? And it's like it's not feasible unless you literally do everything backwards, right? Like I could never sell a $210 hoodie in this store because I wouldn't sell shit, right?
Yeah.
But these companies, they'll come out, they'll create a brand, online only. They'll mark their price up way high, and then they'll give the hoodies away for free to social influencers. And then they see the price tag of $210, and they go, "I'm gonna have to take care of this hoodie. I'm gonna have to wear it all the time because it's a $200 hoodie." Right.
Yeah.
So that's the trick, man. It's like, but how do you get to that point without like pulling the blinds over people? Because like I don't want you're the same way, man. Like you want to be able to charge what it's worth, right? You don't want to overcharge people. You know, your music is one of those things where it's like it's bar none no one in the city can compare to it, dude. Like you're in your own lane. No one's doing this funk music. Like you've got like such a Gary Clark Jr. Vibe about you. Not only just you, but the music. It's incredible to see where you are at 25 years old, sitting here in the Midwest, while there's people out there in L.A. Going to these. What's the school that John Mayer and all those dudes went to?
Berkeley kids.
Berkeley, yeah, bro, for sure.
But they're still fly out there. I'll give them
He
credit for
said
that.
Berkeley kids.
Berkeley kids. Well, they're great, but there's something too, this decision to step up in my relationship here solidifies the one thing that I've always known is I'm a Midwestern kid. I ain't going nowhere. This is home because it's home, okay?
For sure.
And you'll never take that away from me, but I'm going to tell you all the reasons why that this home is beyond kick-ass. And there's something about when you look at Prince and you look at Morris Day and the Time, you realize that that's the sound of Minneapolis. Yeah. Shit, man, I was reaching for the sangria. But there's something to be said about like Nashville's sound right now is very distinct, and people start to see that as an expectation they can get used to. So it kind of discredits the purpose. Like I was talking to my boy Damon about this last night on my podcast. Like the reason I'm gonna do it myself is because I want you to hear where I may know better and I may know worse. We're gonna grow together in that, but it's gonna sound like me, and that's for damn sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love about you, man. Is like the unique sound. No one else like you're not interpreting anybody. I look at you like an artist, like I am. Like I pick up things from L.A., I pick up things from Vegas, I pick up things from Chicago, and I mesh them all together and make it my own, right? And I feel like that's what you do with music. When you jones out and close your eyes and just like drop your head back, bro. It's like, oh shit, he's in a zone right now.
Totally, it gets real, and that's one of those things where like, if you're talking about a brick and mortar store like this. You walk in and there's an experience quality to it the moment you step in the store that you don't pay for.
Right.
But you may pay for that in a $75 hoodie. Maybe it's not at the point where you can ask these certain prices, but that is valued by the consumer.
Right.
In the same way that I could value a VIP package for someone at a show. Now, I'm playing shows in people's backyard. You want to talk about VIP? Let me stay at your house. Like, that's some crazy shit.
That's dope, though.
And I don't charge a lot for that right now. I don't charge that much. But if you want to make these experiences that valuable, you invest in what it takes to put on the experience.
Right.
You invest in what the takeaways are from that. And then you also invest in that moment. As a person saying that I'm going to be there, I'm going to participate in this. I'm going to close my eyes and go cosmic because I know that this guitar solo is going to mean as much to you as it will to me if we both get transported,
For sure.
If the mothership takes off without you, well, shit luck, you know what I mean? Like,
right. What's crazy, bro? Like you said, like playing house shows and stuff. So Ernie Halter is a good friend of mine, and he's from L.A. He moved to Nashville, and he's been like grinding all of his life, bro. Like it was at the point where. Like when American Idol started getting big, people were like, "Why don't you go on American Idol?" He's like, "'Cause I'm a fucking musician." You know what I mean? Like back in the day, he was like, I've already made it. Like I can't go to something. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But Ernie's put in his dues, bro. Like he stayed at my like I was 19, 20 years old, and I just I love this dude's music, and I got connected to him through like Josh Kelly and all these other like acoustic players. And Ernie was like, setting up a tour, and it was like, hey man, do you have a place in Cincy? Can I crash at your house? Like, and that was the whole band crashed at my mom and dad's house, and we set up a gig for him there, at Sully's in Cincinnati, and so every time he came in, my house was just a place to crash at, and it was one of those things where it's like it helps them out because, we're a flyby state, right? So a drive-by state. So it's one of those things where, like, if he can stop in Cincy on the way from Indy to Louisville, and then play a Wednesday show that I can get him, like it's gonna double up on your experience and your fan base.
Totally, and also, it's hard to pick what dates make sense. Like routing's a major bitch in my life, but so I'm looking at this show in Sandown, New Hampshire. Sandown is about an hour and a half out of Boston.
Mhm.
It's by far the biggest fan base I've ever found for myself. These are
Dope.
some of the loudest, sweetest people, and they love what I've done, and I love what they've done. They give me space. They let me stay at their home, and it's all come from
Wow.
one college buddy that's given me that opportunity. So now you figure out, like, okay, what's it take to get me 14 hours north of this bitch? Like, I'm going to need to have some other gigs in between here to make that happen.
Right.
So you're asking for the same kind of magic to pop up. Like, I met a guy in Hilton Head one time, like, just hanging out, playing on the beach. Introduced himself, tells me he's from Buffalo. We don't talk for years. You know, a couple months ago, I hit him up about a show in Buffalo. Suddenly, I'm sleeping in his basement with my hammock set up. I'm like, this is
100%, bro.
that's as good as it gets, man. Like, I made a friend, and he has a space for me. And I look forward to waking up and having breakfast with this dude and talking about a kick-ass show we did the night before.
And that's the thing,
Yeah,
man.
man,
Like
that's great.
for me, like I've always been the connection to Cincinnati, right? Like so I'm not the ask for autographs and pictures type dude. Like, you know, I worked for the radio station when I was 18 years old, so I was an intern, right? I got to do a lot of like things that I shouldn't have been allowed to do at as a teenager. But whenever these people would come in, I would just say, "Hey, bro, I know you don't know anybody here. If you want to grab a drink, if you want to go to a club, if you want to go to a game, or if you want to pick up some chicks, just shoot me a text. I got you."
Yeah.
You know, and that was like, so I was the connection to all these people. So, you know, I've got Grammy Award winners, bro, that like message me when they're like, "Hey, man, can I get a gig in Cincinnati, or can I crash at your house like while we're coming through?" Like, and it's crazy to think that these people don't have that connection. Like they're at this level when it comes to music, but you know, when it comes to this Midwest thing, it's like or flyby states or drive-by states, like they still need that local connection, man.
Yeah.
It can be a little lonely at the top. To
Always,
a
bro.
degree, you know.
Especially
So, I mean-
when you get up there, because I was just talking to somebody earlier, and I was like, you know, what happens when, you know, these professional NFL players, like they want to go to Clutch or they want to go to Gala Park or something, like they don't want to go on their own, like they want a connection
Facts.
down there at the bar. They want
Yeah.
they want somebody that they can connect with while they go down there, right? So
For sure. And there's something to be said, too, about investing in your favorite bands before they get there. It's like, you know, the reason
Always,
that
bro.
the reason that Green Day got called sellouts is because there's people that supported them from the bottom up. And when your favorite bands take off in that kind of way, it's hard. But at the same time, you don't get nowhere without those fans. You don't get anywhere without the 15%, the 10%, the 5% of people that saw you from the get.
Bro,
and
they
said, "I'm in."
put in their dues. I've seen videos of Green Day playing at
Facts.
their high school like outdoor air. Like they went to like a California school where everything was like outdoors, like you see in the movies and shit. But they're like 17 years old, bro, like playing out there in the courtyard of the school, and like no one's paying attention, but it's fucking Green Day. Like,
Totally.
little
Yeah.
young kids, man, rocking
Right.
out.
Yeah, and
Right.
from the perspective that you know now, it's absurd to think that they're playing to nobody. But it's like, you know, I'll go places where someone acts like they've been listening to me every single day, and I'll go places where I could play for this person every day and they wouldn't give a shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, people will choose the value of what you provide. So it's about, you know, affirming that and accentuating it and bringing it to those people over and over again and making it special. You know, walking that line of uncomfortable.
For sure. So you've got so when is that gig out there in outside of Boston?
So we're going back there in July. I go there every like 4 months.
All right. So where do we have to get you hooked up? What towns are on the way out there that you're trying to stay at?
So I looked at Syracuse. I looked at Buffalo. There's a lot of ways to route up to that part of like New Hampshire. You can also do like I'm forgetting the name of it. I just talked to my boy about this, but damn man, I won't be able to remember this small town right outside.
I've got some guys in Buffalo, man. I'll see what I can do, because I did a fashion show there. You know what, bro? I did the fashion show while my ear was sewn on. So it was like maybe a couple weeks after I got all the injuries.
Jesus.
And so I went to the doctor and they sewed my ear back on, like that was bit off. And I drove down there with Steve Hill, which was hilarious, bro, because we were in my car together.
Shout
And
out
he
to
was like,
Steve.
all I could do was smell your ear, bro, on the way down there. I was just,
That's
It
so
was-
raw, dude.
Bro, that's my guy, man. Steve, if you're watching, I love you, bro.
Dude, Steve and I are like second cousins
I-
by marriage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like legit. Like I saw him at a family wedding. I was like, who invited Steve?
That's
and he goes,
hilarious.
dog, this is my cousin's wedding. I was like, all right, now we're on the same page. You want to fight? You know, like it's our same cousin. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious, dude. I
That
think
is
he's out.
hilarious.
I think he's living on a beach again somewhere.
He is.
He's
He
been
is.
out gigging.
Man, I follow him on Snapchat and like just to see his stuff. We don't talk. It's been a minute, but like he's out there just doing his thing. He's on a beach.
DJ
He's
Crowboy.
Yeah, just having a
Crowboy.
good time, man. Like I see his stuff. Yeah, I see his stuff, and it's
Is
just,
it Crowboy or Croy Boy?
Croy. Well, how do you say the
LaCroix?
I don't know. I don't know.
I always thought that was the name of that brand, but I could be tripping hard. Isn't that Costco? Is that Costco soda?
Probably, bro.
Steve Hill got a Costco
I was
membership.
I was
don't
this
believe
close
that.
to
He's
buying. I was this close to buying Big K soda for the store today, just on a nostalgia factor, bro.
Man, I got no
I
issues
was-
with Big K.
I was worried. Like I don't remember what it tasted like though. I was like, am I gonna buy this just gonna be flat Coke? Like I can't remember what it tasted like.
Man,
bro.
I forget-
Pepsi's
I for-
garbage. Big K ain't bad. You know.
Okay, all right.
If it weren't for those little candies, those little Tic Tacs that you get, I would not know what
Coke
Coke
tastes
tastes
like.
like. I
He
forgot.
hasn't had a soda in like a decade, bro.
5 years.
So
Good on you though.
It's because I worked at a restaurant. They didn't sell soda; it was just cans. So I just, for 6 months to a year, I didn't worry about it, and then I just found alternatives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely not something you should be drinking, you know, at 75. Dude, I went to Grader's the other day, best ice cream in the city, obviously. But there's like this well-dressed, like 80-year-old man drinking a soda, smoking a cigarette outside Grader's. I was like, if you made it this far on this diet, I don't give a shit what you do, brother. Tear it up. Like,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the man.
Right.
But-
His
but I-
story is probably great.
Yeah, if you ain't drinking at least like 128, ounces of water a day, you probably ain't doing it right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least start there.
That's funny.
that's funny, bro. By the way, Graders, dude, they're always in the damn spotlight, man. Iration. It's a
Yeah.
band. They're from Cali. All the band members are from Hawaii though, so they're super like laid back and they got like the 311 vibe. They were on tour at 311, but they picked up some hats for hats and shirts for their concert while they were here in town.
Hell yeah.
But those guys, dude, man, my phone's blowing up. Those guys were, damn, where was I just going with this?
Graders?
Graders. Yeah,
Graders,
there,
yeah.
there it is. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you paying attention. Yeah, of course. Just like every band that stops in, like I think even MGK stopped at Graders, bro. It's like, it's one of those
He
things
knows
where
about
like,
the chocolate chunks.
bro, how do we get to that factor where like oh, when we're in Cincy, we got to go to the Native brand. You know what I mean? We got to see that store. Like that's the
Right.
level we got to get to, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Gary Owen stops in, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good start. We were talking about him earlier. Like, yeah, man. It's one of those things where certain people just recognize and they see it before, it's going to hit its tipping point, and they want to stop in and get their merch before they go out back on tour, go to their respected cities. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I've had people come here on Sundays that are like touring musicians that just happen to be in Cincy. They stumble into Native because they walk in. They're on Newport on the Levee at the aquarium, and they like, that store's cool. I could vibe with that. They come in. They're like, man, I actually am pretty successful, actually, if you guys are interested in having me. But I'm out in California or whatever, and I'll talk to them. I'm like, man, you're legit, man. Like, how did you find your way here? Like, well, the aquarium. I'm like, well, okay.
Right.
All right.
Aquarium's
Like,
lit, man.
yeah, man. It's one of those things where if you've got something that, like we are in that process, we're trying to push it out to as many people as possible. But places like the aquarium, tourist spots that these, I don't call them B-list, but like B-list celebrities, people that are like kind of on the up and up in their own world, see it and like, hey, we got to take the family while we're in this little city here, like Cincinnati, the Midwest spider web, if you will. But like,
Yeah.
they come here and they're like, hey, there's an aquarium here, let's check it out. While they're on the levee, hey, we're sitting here with black lights on the ceilings. We got a cool vibe, so they stop in because it fits that West Coast feel. And here we get all of a sudden they're walking out with some merch. And they're taking it back to their city. Like, it's a good feeling to see. That's all organic.
Yeah.
That's them just seeing it in real time and picking up stuff because they don't have to. They're not required to do anything. You know what I mean? So
And I think like the foresight it takes to know that this is a good location for the brand for a while. Like I remember when you were down in like more like the Bellevue area,
Oh,
or was
yeah.
that like more like Dayton, Kentucky?
Dayton,
Yes.
KY, bro.
And
Yep.
like that was a vibe, but like ain't nothing taking me down there except native.
And
You
that's
know,
and that's the thing, man. I had that store. That was the first store that we had, and I bought the building 15 years ago, and bro, like my dad, God rest his soul, a G to a T, bro. Like, I saw the building, and there was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath upstairs. There was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath downstairs, and a storefront. And my dad was like, "This is it. This is where you need to. This is where you need to lay your seed, bro." And I'm like, I don't want to be a landlord to somebody, man. I would rather have, instead of 1,600, 1,200, and 600, I'd rather have 3,200 square feet to myself. My dad's like, quit being an asshole, dude. This is, if you want to have a clothing company, this is where you need to go. This is your step. You can live upstairs. You can rent out to one of your buddies downstairs, and then you can fuck around in the store. He's like, this is where you need to go. And so I buckled down, and Dayton wasn't, 15 years ago, Dayton wasn't what it is now.
yeah.
But now it's like, holy cow, dude! Like I'm sitting on a gold mine over there. Not only that, it did exactly what my dad told me to. It was like, you can live up there, you can have your buddies live downstairs where you're not on top of each other. And bro, like that bottom apartment has been like a catalyst for so many of my successful friends, like that just have wanted to get out of like the college situation and move out there, just a 1-bedroom on your own, and then propel yourself to the next level. Like I've had some G's that have moved in there. That Good Eats down in Clifton. He used to live down there. Andrew Slancer.
Yeah, dude, I love Andrew. I was working with Andrew at God, what was the name of it, up Mount Adams for a while? Chapter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know who got me in Chapter, man? Brandon Perry, the GOAT himself.
Yeah, that was my roommate too, man.
Dude,
Brandon Perry was my roommate, bro. I'm surprised that I haven't heard about that earlier, dude. Because Brandon is such a big fan of music. I figured that he would be like all up in my ear telling me who you were.
Dude, he's taken great care of me in the time that we've been friends, and there's something to be said about when you can recognize that someone's trying the generation below you, and you in a very big brotherly way. That's a guy that took me under his wing and said, "Hey, I'll give you these connections and put you in the right places to be successful." But more importantly, like treats you like an equal. Is excited to see you.
Bro.
You're a human being to that person. They give you space for it.
You got so they're like, the way that I look at these things is like auras, right? Like I don't like, I'm sure it's not right. I've got it completely wrong, but the way that I analyze these, like my life and the people that I meet, is I put people in bags or like baskets real quick, right? Like trust them, don't trust them, don't even want to mess with them, right?
Yeah,
But
just
like,
the intuition.
yeah, and just like, it's just that aura thing, man. And it's just like when you, like, there's something about you that just makes people gravitate towards you. Same thing with Brandon. There's people that have this, like, I want to see him again. I want to hear him again. Like,
Yeah.
I like the vibe that he puts off, and that's that aura thing. Like, and when you find somebody that has that same type of mentality, same type of aura, like, all we are atoms, dude, just bouncing around in the world. So, like, of course we're gonna gravitate towards each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's something really special about when, like, I think auras fall in that category of things that are felt, not seen, nor
Yeah.
heard. And there's this whole physical reality that we're tuned into because of the species that we are in. We get to hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. We get to see on the visual spectrum of these colors, and that's what you catch. But there's plenty of shit outside of that.
Way outside of that, bro.
Yeah. And if you luck out and you have some kind of inclination toward it, it can really play into your advantage just in terms of, like, navigating this short life you get. And when that turns into, like, some people have synesthesia, they see music. That sounds like some pretty rad shit if you're going to go see AC/DC and you get a free light show in your own head.
Right.
But there's something also about, like, intuition where I meet you and you give me a realm of comfort and understanding and authenticity that is undeniable from the get. So I don't have to worry about that shit.
Right.
I don't need to question your sanity and your dependability. I know you can just step into my life and be there for as long as you want and step out when you need to.
For sure, dude. And like if you want to start going down that route, I mean, we can start getting all kind of crazy, bro. Because like, the way that I look at the situation when it comes to like different auras and like paths, right? We all have an A to B, right? So like everyone's got the A to B path, and like the way that I've always looked at. Have you had deja vu before?
Absolutely.
It's the craziest thing on earth because like for the next 5 seconds you know what's going to happen. Like you know what that person's going to say or what that person's going to do. For me, I've never had a bad deja vu moment. It's always been a positive moment, or it's always been something and that's just, it's never been negative, right? And what I've always thought about that is like we create our own paths, but God's got, or whatever it is. I don't know if it's God. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know what. But there's an A to B path that we have, and like through course of life, you do your ups and downs. But the second that you hit that A to B, that's deja vu to me.
Yeah.
It's just the even ground. It's never been an amazing moment. It's never been a bad moment. It's always been that medium right there where it's like I'm at the right time, the right place at the right time of my life. Always.
Yeah.
Well, there's a great calling to action in those moments. Like most of the time, deja vu, as much as I may see it, within 5 seconds in advance of what's going on, like deja vu really exists to remind you that like time is fickle. Time is something you imagine. I was raised Catholic, so I was always taught that God sees time on this endless medium that He can pop in and out of. It's like, regardless of your denomination and how you sit with your faith, it's cool to realize that time and place are small parts of the variable, but you're tuning into the present is something that you must always do if you want to go from A to B, persistently.
Yeah.
And gratefully too. Like tune into what's going on right now. You cannot predict the future. You cannot change the past.
Right.
Except the path you're on.
For sure. So when it comes to like the next 5 years of your life, so give me the 5-year plan and give me the 10-year plan, because I think I've got the 5-year plan set up for you, but I want to see where like everything goes well, everything goes right in 5 years. Who are you? Because I know you want to tour in 5 years, right? You want to be a musician.
I want to play when I'm 95. I want to be knocking on death's door, picking my guitar. Like it's the only thing that matters to me. So in a 5-year scope, I have a very clear idea of what my touring circuit is every year. I want to get better at what I can ask of people in terms of my value for the experience. But I want to write songs every single day that I get up. Because when you're used to catching the inspiration, you will have these moments of genius or pain that are oh so relatable, and they fit into the pop culture world.
For sure.
So to stay adamant about what I'm already doing is my 5-year plan. I've been gifted this opportunity to be here at 25 and know that I'm doing what I've wanted to do.
Right.
I've arrived. So now it's about persistence, and there's nothing I will wake up and do easier than make my music and hop in a car, drive 8 hours, play a show, drive 8 hours back. I don't care.
Right.
Whatever takes me to the people that will enjoy it the most. And if they don't enjoy it now, I will make sure they enjoy it later. There's an adamance for that.
For sure. So one thing that I want to make sure that we have here, bro, when you do these like pop-up shows 6-8 hours away, we've made merch for you before. We made the tie-dye logo, which looked really cool. But like I want to, when you do these things, especially with gas prices the way they are, these people they're probably asking for peanuts, right? Like, hey, can you come play at my house, or can you come do this? I can pay you $300, and it's going to be like your gas is $250 to there and back, right? But you, as a musician, you're like, hey, there's $50 that I'll make on the table. I'm not saying that's how much you make, but I'm just saying hypothetically, you
get the situations like the ends don't justify the means on paper necessarily.
For sure.
That's not the world we live in.
Right. But what I'm once you're out there, how do you capitalize on the moment, right? And how do you capitalize on the moment is being able to sell CDs, T-shirts, things that people want to remember that moment by.
Yeah.
Right.
When there's a moment of ownership too. When I go down to Sandown, New Hampshire, which is like the number one small city that's seen me and cared for me and deserves my love in that regard. But they want to see their name on a T-shirt. They want to feel represented, seen, heard, felt. So when you make very particular tangibles for that, let's say Matt Waters and the Recipe, the Big Crash Summer Tour, Sandown, New Hampshire, it's like I'm buying that fucking shirt. Believe me.
So let's do that, man. When you do these limited shows where you're going to New Hampshire, let's make 15 of them. Like, you know what I mean? And so let's make them so limited that like okay, so if they're $20 each, 15, that's 300.
Yeah.
So like let's guarantee a number that you can eat off of.
Totally.
Right. So
well, and there's something that's interesting in the musicians' world that happens in a lot of the artistic endeavors, where it's like what I do as a primary subject has almost a monetary value of nil, because streaming is something that is assumed. You've already paid for that service, and most of the payment that you put towards Spotify or Apple Music is going to go to the biggest artists who have brought people to those platforms.
For sure.
That being said, when I get an interaction with someone, I always say you make fans one-to-one.
Always.
From you to me, if we can have that conversation, it could be the difference between a lifer or someone that's going to be there for the next 15, they're going somewhere else after this.
Right.
So then when you offer opportunities for them to financially support you that they also see value in, a shirt that makes me remember this moment in time, a sticker that makes me remember you on my laptop. I sell lighters because every time that you spark up, I want you to remember that you and I had this moment in time. Yeah, actually, hold on.
Smart.
I got one right here for you, Jay. Here you go, play.
Oh, shit. I got no depth perception. Hey, that's dope as shit.
Yeah, man.
So
straight up Bix.
And I apologize because you messaged me to try to get your logo, the tie-dye logo for this here.
But like we just talked about, it's like when an artist steps in on your stuff, they deserve to be considered to the highest extent.
Right.
So however we go about that deal afterwards, all I'm saying is people love the tie-dye shit you make, so I want to make sure we keep doing it,
Sure.
So whatever way is most efficient for all of us. But when you're on the road, there's only so many ways to make money.
Always,
and you got to be real with your fans about that, and you got to provide value with that. It's like, hey, if there's anything that matters to me at the end of the day, it's that you feel like you walked away with something that you couldn't put a monetary value on.
100%, bro. 100%.
It shouldn't be in your hand. It should be in your heart that you and I stood here together, and I sang you a song, and you loved that shit. Or maybe I sang you a song and you didn't love that shit, and then we talked about it, then I played you something else that you dug. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
There's compromise.
But also like being there in the present, man. Like shaking hands afterwards. Like the show Iration. So they had Tropodelic and Cashed Out open up for them, and of course they do their due diligence down at Bogart's, where when they're done playing, they go and they hang out at the merch booth. They shake hands, they autograph, they do what they can to sell that merch, man. But I really think that like we can come up with something, because like I'm not only a friend of you, but I'm a fan of you. Like, and I know that you're gonna be in 5 years. I can see you just on a tour where you've got everything's on autopilot. You've got people behind you that I'm not going to be able to talk to in 5 years. Is the way that I'm thinking about this thing. I think in 5 years I'm going to have to talk to a female that's going to correlate the merch to me, and then I'm just going to have to send you a text message just to get the okay. Is this the logo you want, bro? And you're going to 2-3 days later I'll get a text message back. Yep.
Right.
But
You know what I mean,
like
right?
you're G at that level where it's like delegate well, find people that you trust to do the job right. And when we talk about my 10-year plan, it's like I want to be doing exactly what I'm doing, but extending the blessings that I had in my life to other people.
Right.
I want to be doing it at a higher level. Like, it is the line between contentment and ambition that you walk happily that defines how well you can live this life. I shouldn't be kept up at night by the fact that I don't have the successes of people that I admire.
Right.
I should only wake up to do what I can do, and I should always be satisfied with that job if I stepped up truly.
Right, but as a musician and as an artist, you're always you're always going for that brass ring, right? You're always trying to get to that next level, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, why am I not there yet? Why am I not there yet? Like, you know, and you're doing your due diligence to get there, man. So like for the people listening, like what like you know, you're doing a lot of online social media presence, which is tedious and hours of backlog, right? But
Mhm.
what you're doing is you're trying to brand yourself. Like not only come listen to my music, listen to me talk, and then you know the music is going to come secondary. Like you're trying to build an entire brand off this thing, which you know it kudos to you because it's a second job. It's a job on top of just being a musician on your own. And it like, you know, when you see these other people do it, man, like they've got like a whole array of people behind them that are filming and editing and doing all the A to Z. But for you, like, you know, you've been doing the legwork, you've been doing the editing and everything on your own, just to get your own self to the next level, which is like, hey, I'm doing all this artistic stuff for social media, just so you can go back and listen to how good I am at what I love to do. And that's the thing that most people don't realize, man, is like you got to double down on yourself and put all the eggs in your own basket to get to that point. And it's like, you know, the only reason why I'm here is because I haven't given up. And the only reason why you're sitting on that side of the couch is because you haven't given up. And I'm sure there's been a million times where you just wanted to pack it up, bro.
Totally. Well, you know, but adversity is a friend in the lives of the passionate. Sometimes you need an antagonist for your story to get you up in the morning, and discomfort is not something to shy away from. It's something to test you as to whether you're on the right A to B path.
Right.
And as many times I've been tested, I know in my heart of hearts there's nothing I'd be happier doing. But I've tried to make a promise to myself that I will not stoop to levels that don't serve me.
Right.
So when I make my online content, I know where that serves me. It gets me to sit down with my friends. Like coming here today is a chance to talk to you guys, like the human beings you are, rather than people that help me out with my you know tangible merch catalog. Which,
Right.
as much as I value that, I also value the opportunity to have a drink with you and just shoot the shit for a little bit, because that's what we're all at. You know, there used to be this idea of stardom, and now there's a current idea of stardom
Right.
where you may have quantifiably more people watching, but the value of your contribution is only based on the consumer. So when it's just you and I will consume at the highest level. I will listen to you. I will enjoy every second of that, because if I can't take something from this conversation, I will not go back and write and step up. And I don't care where it is. I play at Kroger's. I play at great venues. I play in backyards. I play in strip malls. I don't give a shit.
And I want to reiterate something, man. Like just to solidify what you're saying, you literally told me like I want to play at your wedding and I want to do it for free. I want to be there. I just want to be in the presence, and I want to be able to play music, man. And that was so cool that you even offered that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't get a chance to make it happen, but like I love the fact that you're that hungry. Where you know, and 3-4 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, like you're still on that path. Where like, yo, like I'm hungry, bro. Like I just want to go out there. I just want people to hear my voice because you're that confident in what you do, man. And like, if you double down on what you're good at, bro, like I mean, you're 25, man, and you're treating this as you're 33 years old, just breaking it into the music industry. You know what I mean? Like you've got a decade ahead of you that you know you get to work with, bro. And like
For sure. And you look at an opportunity like someone's wedding day is a big deal. You know, I'm talking about my own with my fiance right now, and it is a big deal. And sometimes you walk into those situations and it's just another day on the job, but you know you have an opportunity here through the medium of music to accentuate the experience.
Right.
And I know how much that can mean to somebody, because I've been there for the best and the worst, you know?
Right.
Like you see what it means to underprepare and to overprepare. I got this wedding I'm playing in 2 weeks in like the Raleigh, North Carolina
Oh, dope.
area. And they Googled funk band, and somehow I came up on a Google search. And then 3 years ago now, I started talking to these people. They started coming to my shows. We became fast friends, and now they give me this opportunity on their day with their friends to come play my shit. plus some of their requests. And I'm like, you better believe we're pulling the horns down there. We'll have a fat trailer with a whole bunch of lighting and a fog machine, like, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't take this opportunity lightly. I want
Right.
I want us to disassociate from the world and all of its issues and dance our asses into the dirt because it feels good.
And especially when you're in another state too,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're out there, like, if you just let loose and be who you are, bro, like, unbutton that second button that you do, bro.
Dude,
you're
you said
gonna be so good in Carolina.
Get a little
man.
loose and get going, bro.
One time, Jay, I'm talking to him about T-shirts in some regard, and he goes, "No, Matt's one of those like barely buttoned up T-shirts kind of guys." And I was like, "Shit, man! Like, as many people tell me to do one more button, at least he didn't tell me to do that. But like, that's a friend. He knows, man. Like, it's just,
Dude,
I'm more comfy this way."
You're killing it. You're killing it, bro. Like some people shy away from the chest hair, bro.
The
You're
chesticles,
like, yo.
Yeah.
No, I feel it, bro. And you know what? And
Amazing.
before I forget, so I've got a good friend that lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't think they moved to Tampa yet, but she's a program director, music director for one of the radio stations out there, and her husband is the lead singer of a band called Southbound 75.
Cool.
Mark Lorenzo. Lorenzo's super dope, bro. They're like, they used to live here. Randy West is his wife. She used to be on Kiss 107 here a lifetime ago, but got a job promotion out to Raleigh and just went haywire, bro. Like,
Hell yeah.
she had a syndicated show here in Cincy, and like, if you know anything about radio, bro, the only way that you make money is like a syndicated show.
Yes, you need to be national.
Yeah. I mean, because at that point you're just doubling up on your monies, right? So.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you bring that up because, like, you look at what y'all are doing with your brand in a program like this. When I try to do in my brand with, like, the interview portion, it's like, together we prosper in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
So you make this content with talented folks that you feel like have perspective that other people would take the time to listen to. And then you find ways to remonetize that and remonetize it, run the wheels off of every idea you have.
For sure.
Because some of these are going to go farther distances than others, but when it comes to just leverage in the public eye and the listener's view, you need to have countless at-bats. You're never going to bat 1,000. You would never want to. A home run's a home run, baby. You know?
Right,
So, like,
for sure.
you bring people along, you figure out how to push that content on the back end, and suddenly people start to cue in because of these small moments that they might see, 15 seconds. It turns them on to why this isn't just a clothing brand. This is a cultural movement.
Right.
Starting with a guy that was crazy enough to hire all these lunatics to run his store.
Right.
And to put on a podcast about that shit.
And that's the thing, man. Like, you said something earlier about taking clips from, because like these podcasts, these are getting out of hand. These have been like 3 hours long or something. But what you do is you go in and you look for the peaks on laughing moments.
Yeah.
And that is so genius, dude. Just being able to go in on, you said to use Final Cut. Now we go live on everything, so I haven't had to use any editing software. When I do use editing software, it's iMovie, but few and far between I've ever had to do that. We eliminated it because it was taking too long for our editing to come back because we were outsourcing it.
Yeah.
So we would do a podcast and then we would slip up and say something about the Bengals before we had Joe Burrow. So by the time the show aired, the Bengals were in a slump, and we're like, "Yeah, let's go, Who Dey!" And it was like it was just one random thing that we would say that would just tarnish the podcast because it didn't make any sense because it would be like a week later that we were talking about it.
Turnaround time's a bitch, you know.
And that's the thing, man. It's and until you start editing, you realize that a week is a quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
Well,
like the technology and the need for the devices expands exponentially as you do that well. But the only thing you can ask for yourself in the moment of filming is to be great by being there. Don't be on your phone. Don't be worrying about the trends. Say stuff that's going to feel like you were having this, one-to-one conversation or just you and two guys that you spent countless time talking in front of.
For sure.
But when you turn it around these small clips, it's like, I'm not going to get you on the hook with an hour-and-a-half conversation. You don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. But if I can get you on a random rant of 15 seconds where, like you said, I saw the audio file spike. So I cued in. I tried to frame that moment in less than a minute. I post that shit on Instagram, and I hope for the best.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the merch queen, Riley, one of my best friends, she's taken over my posting, so I don't have to sit there every day and rewatch my nonsense and caption this out, because then that just runs your big ass head into a brick wall. You know what I mean? Like, it strokes your ego in a weird way, and it debilitates your ego. It just makes you crazy.
Dealing with social media is tough, man, because it's aggravating, because all you're doing is you're taking all this hard work that you've done, right, and then you post it online, and then when it doesn't get the attention, you go, fuck, man, what happened? Why? So if you can get somebody involved, someone else to do that stuff, you're not going to take it to heart like she is. She's going to see it and she's going to go, okay, this didn't work as well as this one did.
Yeah.
So how do we change that? But like artists like you and I, like I'll take that shit to heart, man, and it'll just dishearten me to post another one or to keep posting it until it's good. You know what I mean? Because I've got my own L's and W's in there. Yeah. Not somebody that I brought in that's gonna try to make it better, right? Yeah. And critique it to the point that it's perfect.
But it's the people in this small group around you that you've committed to that tell you the most absolute truths. It's the guys like Andrew that will talk shit about the show when he whether you were or you weren't on it. It's like people that can give that immediate feedback are so important, because in the public perception, you never know what it's like to get a first impression of yourself. You will never be distance enough from your ego to understand what it's like to see 15 seconds of you as a stranger being funny or being cringy or being whatever the hell you are.
I have never heard Jay, the guy with the eye patch, right, on the outside world, but I'm sure it happens all the time, right? It's like it's one of those things where like you don't see what the outside perspective sees you as, right? But like at the same time, it's like I that's exactly how you would describe me, bro, as the guy with the eye patch. You know what I mean?
And you're someone that has utilized your distinguishments to your advantage. We live in a world where, unfortunately, victim mentality has taken a lot of great people to some hard places. Right. And unfortunately, whether it's good or bad, the hand you were dealt that is the hand you were dealt. So it is folks that can allow these particularities and distinguishments to raise your profile to a place where you're unforgettable. Right. That know what it means. It's like, that's authenticity. You don't shy away from your faults even. You don't even shy away from your hardships. And people remember you for that indefinitely.
For sure. Jesus, drop that one. All right. So, but like what I'm trying to like do with this whole thing, man, is like once I put the eye patch on, like I turned into a character, right? And it was like I get it. Like I didn't want to. Of course, it bugged me at first because I felt like people weren't listening to me. They were just staring at me going, Jesus Christ, what happened to this guy? Yeah. But it turned me into a character, and it ended up boosting the brand to a next level where like I'm totally, when kids come in and they go, Mom, it's a pirate, and the mom's like trying to push the kid behind her going, shh, shh. I'm just knocking it all over.
You crazy, dog.
So, she's trying to push the kid behind her back. I pull out my wallet, and I've got literally an 8.5 by 11 treasure map, a pirate treasure map that I ripped up into 9 different pieces. And so I would give this kid a little piece of the treasure map, and on the backside it says, shh, I am a pirate, but don't tell anybody. This is a part of the treasure map. If you can find the code or if you can find the treasure, go to thenativebrand.com, type this in, and you'll get your treasure. And it was just stickers, right? But it was like one of those things where like it happens so often that these kids were like, Mom, a pirate. And she would be so embarrassed, or he would be so embarrassed that he would like try to push the kid behind his shoulder, like, stop, don't do that. And it's just like, that's all these kids know, bro. Like how am I going to fault a kid for seeing me with an eye patch and not correlating me with a pirate? Like, it would be rude on my own part to think that this kid doesn't know any better.
Yeah. Well, and then you get to be a hero in their mind, because one day they'll realize that you played into this character full on knowing that you are not a pirate, you are another human being. But the fantasy world that you live in as a child, and the break between that and reality is somewhere indescribable, and we all feel it. Mm-hmm. But you are someone that took them into the world that is of any opportunity.
Of
You know,
course,
and
bro.
that is heroic. You know.
And that's how we do it down here at the store, man. Like we make sure that we entertain the kids. Like there was a long time that every Saturday I would play Saturday morning cartoons from the 80s with the commercials in the store. This was back in Dayton when we were talking about. So like every Saturday morning I would play 1980s and 1990s like Ren and Stimpy on Saturday morning, like, and I would have those Saturday morning cartoons where it was like Crossfire,
Yeah.
like that, all that shit. And I would give out cereal for the first 10 people that came in and give them 10% off the store, just because like I like these like kid factors, these nostalgia factors, like trying to like correlate some type of shit that I loved as a kid into the store now, right? Where like people, it's a interactive retail is what we call it.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's something brilliant about that, but you know, you also remind me of, you know, I know we both watch the Rogan show, and it's like I was listening to God Saad on there the other day. This is a 10-year
Incredible.
professor, 10-year professor who is beyond brilliant. And he says, "Don't talk down to your children." And I think about my nephews, and I think about all the times where I'm playing with them, and I try to bring something down to their vernacular.
yeah.
And it's like, you know, you can do that, but at the same time, respect that they have an opinion, they have an idea, they have a perception of this world that you are unaware of.
Oh, yeah.
So the only thing that you can do as a real friend is participate in it. You know, and if you participate in that kind of a way, you take them to a new level of living where
Oh, yeah.
they can feel community, they can feel relationships building. Like when I play at Kroger, there's a kid that comes in there who's maybe in the 7th grade, and he loves to play the drums. So I set up a loop, and I hand him my drum pad, and I said, "We're in
Oh,
Kroger.
wow.
I could care less. Let's go for it together." And every once in a while, I throw him a drum solo, and that shit is so nasty. And I'm like, this is what I live for. I was a kid, and someone gave me a chance to come up and play with them. And
You
if
would
you hit
remember
it-
that forever, bro.
Yeah,
it is
Yeah.
so foundational to who I am. There's a guy that the first person I ever played with, my dad tipped him $20, gave me a chance. I came and played some reggae songs with him at a resort that my parents stayed at every year.
Oh, it's awesome, dude.
He let me
Good
play-
for your dad, bro.
He
Right.
let me play every gig that week he had with him. Every single gig. He let me do that for 6 years. Every time I showed up in Hilton Head, South Carolina, I'd call this guy, he'd send me a schedule. I'd play every show with him.
That's incredible.
He was a friend beyond what I could ever ask of a stranger.
So how old were you when this first happened?
I was 14.
Oh, wow,
13,
dude.
14. So the perfect age would be like, I'm interested. Show me what this life is. And he showed me. And so now I'm a band leader. I'm doing pretty well for myself. I have a gig in Hilton Head, South Carolina on my family vacation. My bass player can't make it. I call him. I booked his son to come play with me.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
And
cool as shit, man.
What a fulfilling moment to realize that this
Full circle.
Yeah, man. This chance that I was given, and this kid's also off the charts talented. You know, like the biggest benefit to me is to be surrounded by greatness, to get to benefit from that in my own show.
right.
So this kid steps up with tremendous talent. He also serves a great purpose in my life, and he also feels like this full circle moment. That's crazy.
That's incredible, bro. So and so he's younger than you are, I'm assuming.
I think it's like 16, 17.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, bro. Like it's just you being you at that moment, and you know, like I said, a good upbringing because your dad believed in you at 13, 14 years old to throw $20 to somebody to, you know, you could have completely embarrassed your parents if you
Yeah.
weren't any good. You know what I mean? But like your dad believed in you at 13, 14, bro. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Like, and that's what was. So was that the moment that like that caught the spark that made you wanna just keep doing it? Because like
Yeah.
there's a moment in my life that like sparked where it was like I want to do this forever, right? Like there was a moment in my life that I felt that, and I haven't stopped since.
Well, in that 1 week of vacation, it happened with 3 or 4 people. He gave me my 4 biggest mentors of my childhood in 1 week by just continually asking this question once he knew I was ready.
Right.
But I remember very distinctly a conversation with my pops where he said, "Do you want to do this for the rest of your life?" And I was 14. And I said, "Absolutely." And he said,
That's
"I'm on
crazy.
board." You know, in that moment, like he pretty much dapped me up and said, like, "We're doing this." You know, so whether it was driving me to Cleveland on a school night to play a set at the Hard Rock, you know, I played at the Cleveland House of Blues when I was probably like 17.
Oh wow!
I had to
dude.
sell like 30 tickets. I didn't sell those 30 tickets. I bought those 30 tickets so I could play at this place. My parents drove me up there. I played for maybe 150 people tops. And then they drove me back. You know, and countless situations after that where they just had so much unconditional support for me living my dreams that I can't fathom how people get there without that.
Right.
And it makes me eternally grateful to them and to proving them right for giving me that chance. You know, not in a way of full on, you know, Grammy Award winning success. I'd like to get my first Grammy and thank my folks.
For sure,
but,
bro.
You know, on a small level, every time they come to my show, I am.
It's a W. It's a win.
It's a huge W.
Yeah.
That's so true. I don't mean to interrupt or anything like that, but like I remember playing shows myself, and my dad is not exactly he's so musically talented. I noticed one time we were sitting in church.
Thank you, bro.
He he's like doing all these like rhythmic stuff with the music, and I'm like, he knows music, he just doesn't like to lead it on. Like he's low key with it. But like when I saw him come to my shows and come into metal band stuff and like seeing music he'd have to put earbuds in for, right? So
Yeah.
like,
G.
but he still came out and he still supported it. And I was like, seeing him in the crowd, I'm just like, you know what? I know you're not having the greatest time right now. You're not. I know.
But you're doing it for me.
But you're doing it for me. You're there for me. And like, it was like a moment where I'm like, it gave me that extra like oomph to like put out that next level vocal and like that next level performance. Get a little lower when the breakdown's going down. And I have another to say. I was helping out a customer earlier, but we were talking, and you just mentioned how the guy on the podcast on Rogan was saying that don't talk down to the little ones, right? And my little brother, who is 16 years old, driving now, is pretty cool. But like, I am not really good at baby talk. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and I still struggle to like baby down to her because like it's not really where I'm just not. It's not. I'm not built that way. I just talk to him like I'm just talking to anybody else. It's just not my strength. But with Landon, my little brother, my whole life, he was born when I was 17. And I never was good at baby talk. I just wasn't. So to this day, since he was little, I just like, what's up, Landon? What's up? What's up? Like I talk to him like I'm talking to my friends. And I think in a weird way, because he gravitates to me all the time. And I think in a weird way because I talk to him like we're on the same level. I mean, I'm 33 years old, be 34 in July, and he's 16, he'll be 17 in October. So we're way, way apart. And like, yet I talk to him like I'm talking to my homie. And I think he picks up on it and has always picked up on it. And it's made him a level of maturity that like it trying to, it sped it up, it elevated it to like, hey, my big brother talks to me like I'm one of the crew. You know what I mean? And I think that's really helped him in the process. We've talked about him customizing native shoes and doing stuff because he like will spray paint shoes. He'll literally he has a whole setup and his like holders are made out of Legos and he's got a cool setup in my parents' like house. He's a little G, like it's really impressive. But like he just does it on his own. He doesn't have anyone like showing him what to do. My parents aren't. They're creative, but like he just does his own. He's in his own lane. But like I talk to him like, hey, you're one of the homies. Like, come on, Landon, let's hang out. Like he's like, yeah. But like, I feel like if you talk down to the little ones, I feel like they kind of get the security blanket that isn't realistic, right? Like if you talk to them like, hey, you're one of the people. Like, come on, your ideas are just as important as my ideas. Just as important as his ideas. Your opinion just as important. Even though like people may not hear you because you're younger, you're 15-year-olds. Who cares what you got to say, kid? But really, like you have a whole new lens that I'm not seeing because he's introduced to the internet at a different time. He's introduced to the world views at a different time. He doesn't have the same like me and Jay are older, so we're like when I was younger, Instagram wasn't even a thing until we hit college. Really, Instagram wasn't as big until 2010, 2011, 2012. But like Facebook was new, but Landon grew up with it from the get-go, from the start. I mean, TikTok, really, like, that's all he has, and that's what they're about. And TikTok's new for us. I mean, we're, like, obviously, like, you're utilizing it as a musician, and we're utilizing it, but, like...
I avoid that shit like the plague. I want nothing to do with the tic-tac, unfortunately.
You should jump on board. It might help you. You never know.
That's one of those things where, like, you look at what the app is asking of you to get the largest results out of it. And I think some of these apps will ask you to consume at an inordinate rate to be a content creator. And to be totally transparent, I don't have time for that shit. I could be in the wrong for that, and maybe it'll take off without me. But you choose the things to focus yourself on. Like I promised myself I won't make videos for Instagram trends. You know, I'm not going to sit here and try to follow someone else's idea of what's going to make me popular, because I see friends do that and it takes off, and now
Diminishes,
you're just famous for trends, and that's that is something you will chase the rest of your life. First, if I get big doing my thing, I don't have anything to worry about.
And that's smart too, because you don't want to chase the likes, bro. If you start chasing how many likes you get, it's a slippery slope, because you start looking at the wrong reasons to be successful, right?
Mhm.
But if you sit there and if you just take a couple steps every day and focus on you and what you're good at and double down on what you're good at, every couple days you take a couple steps forward. By the end of the week, by the end of the month, you're going to be a lot further than you think, man. That's what I always tell these guys. Like, it's not a home run, man. It's base hits every day.
Totally.
Base hits every day. And then, what we were talking about earlier, family, bro. Family's huge in the situation, man. Like, my mom, she's watching right now. She always watches the podcast. She's one of the few that tunes in the second that we start, and she watches it all the way to the end of it. And she's a fan. She's just like your parents, bro. She would drive me to Cleveland to play a show. She would drive me to Chicago if I needed something. Like this. Like, we're so lucky to have that type of structure on the back end, because that gave us the freedom to do what we want today.
Yeah.
Right? Like, my mom, bro, like there was a million times where she was like, "Look, you're so good at what you do, right? Like, why don't you just get a job at Procter and Gamble as a marketing person, right?" And it's like, "Look, I'm good at clothes. I'm good at designing, and I'm good at printing." Like, and oddly enough, I took the two things that my mom was good at designing. She did Adobe Illustrator before Adobe Illustrator was an actual program. So she would have to cut out a coffee. Like, I still remember this coffee mug advertisement she did, where she would have to, like, basically do clip art and then print out like a black and white coffee mug, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then glue it to an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then type out the paragraph that she wanted, and then shrink it down, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then paste it, literally copy and paste, like for real copy and paste. And then once everything was on this 8.5 by 11 paper, then she would copy the whole paper back into the computer, and then they would. My dad was a printer, so they would take the image that she just now created, and they would put it onto metal, and then from metal, they print onto paper. So there was this whole process, and like, I was like 8 years old, like learning all this shit, like before Adobe Illustrator was even a program. So like, I took what my mom did, and all the Adobe Illustrator and all that shit, and I used it to make my own company. And then my dad's printing abilities, like, it's just what I've been brought up with, man. It's just like, and I didn't even realize it until like a year and a half ago that, like, holy shit, dude. Like, everything that I've been brought up on my entire life, I've just somehow took these things, just kind of mushed them together and created my own thing, and then told my mom and dad, like, when I was 20 years old, like, this is what I want to do. Get out of my way. Like, I want to be a clothing designer. Like you're not going to be a clothing designer. This shit, that is so fucking crazy. You're out of your mind to think you can do something like that. But
it's cool to be able to trace your ancestry in that, and like,
bro, to a T. It's one of my favorite parts of the story, is the fact that, like, I've nonchalantly taken everything that my mom and dad have done their entire lives, and like, my dad wanted me to be a printer. Like, I've worked in his warehouse, and he was a head manager of 144 employees, bro. So like, I've been there. I've done the sweat work, and I've done the whole nine, and it was just like, that's not me. But somehow, like, I just merged the two and then put them together, and then, like, I created this own idea that I have. But at the end of the day, if you break all that shit down, it's just what my mom taught me and what my dad taught me, bro.
Yeah,
literally.
And you know much better than I do. Both of you guys do what it means to be a father and to hope that your kids find their own in this life. But there's a moment of taking your hands off the wheel and just seeing where it goes based on what you've already kind of put into the system. Like, My parents were super supportive, but I was the youngest of 4 kids, so they were pretty preoccupied for a lot of my
Right.
childhood, understandably so. But I had a grandmother, my nana, who said, he likes guitar. You know, my husband liked the guitar. My son liked the guitar. She saw in other parts of my family. She said, I'll drive him to every lesson he ever needs to take. For
Incredible,
8 years of
bro.
my life, I would walk out in the parking lot and find this woman sleeping in a hot car. Just didn't, couldn't care less what she had to do.
Just waiting on her grandson.
Just waiting on me,
It's a
man.
true G, man.
And then she'd take me home. She'd say, "What'd you learn today?" And I'd have to play all that shit back to her.
Bro,
You know. And
so what you learned today, what those moments right there mean so much more than you realize, because they're like grandma's reiterating, what did you do today? What did you learn? Like when I came home from school every day, my dad would go, what did you learn today? And like for the longest time, I would just say nothing. And he goes, you didn't learn a single thing today? You didn't learn not one thing today? But every day he would ask me that question, bro, what did you learn today? And so then I started telling him what I learned today, and then started reiterating it. And so we had a conversation about it, and then it made it bigger, and it made it made more of an impact in my brain just for that one question, bro. Just that one little question that grandma asked you, bro. What did you learn today?
one that makes you a student of the game forever. It's like, so now when you go home from work and you're sitting there with your wife and your daughter, it's like, you ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I put in and get out?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get better every day, then you have missed the chance of getting up. It's like we live in this odd world where you can wonder every day if you're in a simulation. You know, you can wonder if you're just a cog in the system. But if you took something away from this by means of your efforts and your community, it's like you should know you're steering at least in the right direction.
Oh,
to
for
some
sure.
extent.
For sure, bro. I'm blown away at your mind mentality, bro. Like I've got to have a drink with your mom and dad.
Okay.
For
Dude,
real.
they deserve it. So the other day, my mom and dad came out to a gig, and so my mom's someone that's always
Maybe
had.
grandma. Maybe grandma's the one. we need
Right,
to have
grandma.
a
So-
contact
grandma's the
with.
truth.
Nana the G,
Truth.
she has passed, but she is forever
Oh,
with me.
shit.
Oh,
You know, you
man.
see a cardinal and you wonder about those people, man. Like there's great blessings in this world. And like we said, the things you may not see, hear, touch, or taste are so much more
You're
around
connected
you.
with Earth, bro.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. And she smiles on me every day if I ask her to, you know. So I deserve to give her that space and always be there for it. But when it comes to, like, my folks came to a gig the other day. People were doing their thing. Obviously, there's 10 people in the bar, maybe. My mom pulls my dad away from a conversation, says, sit down and listen to the last song. Gives me a chance to play for her. You know, I know my mother, of all people, would give me a chance to play for her. But the entire bar, in that one act, shuts up. People walk out on the patio and ask them to stop construction so that they can listen to one last song.
Oh wow.
And I played Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you know, for my mother, for my dad, for this bar of people. And after that moment, my mom, being the crazy person she is, buys a round of shots for the entire bar
Yeah.
for listening to her kid. And I'm like, what a hilarious moment if you were just a bystander. You listen to this, you know, this mid-20s
Moments,
dude
bro.
bare his soul, and then his mom comes up and she wants to buy you a shot. It's like, that's a hell of a handshake.
Bro,
man.
that is a huge handshake.
There's moments like that you're never gonna forget, and those
Never.
10 people will never forget, bro.
Yes, and that is the gift of living is the particularities. You know, you may be the guy with the eye patch, but you're a once in a lifetime experience for the kid that walks up, and you're so cool to him, and he'll never forget that. You know,
Bro, that's so like one thing that I've definitely noticed is like I don't wear the eye patch all the time because it gets sweaty under there. Like, and if actually the AC's broken here right now, so we're gonna have
Jesus
to figure
Christ.
that out.
no
But
wonder I'm feeling it, dog.
bro,
Fair.
but when I wear the eye patch and like when these kids come in, because like I said, the demographic is getting younger, right? Like we're getting 12, 10-year-old kids that come in here. But when I'm wearing the eye patch, and then if I introduce myself like, hey, I'm the mad scientist, like I get this like the Goonies eyes, bro. Like these eyes just get wider. They're like, you're the mad scientist? And like, yeah, dude, that's me. Like good to meet you, bro. Like same thing, like I said, like pull out a little pirate treasure map in my pocket or something.
Yeah.
But like these things like you know, when you have those moments, it means so much more, because like if I'm not wearing the eye patch, the experience isn't there, right? It's just a wonky eye that's kind of just floating in its own little vicinity. But like when I'm in character, bro, like I can tell that these kids, they appreciate it so much, and it's awesome to see, man. And like I take it to heart too. Like I don't let it hurt my feelings. Like I embrace it, right? Like it's a character that we put into the I've had to, like we said earlier on the podcast, bro. But like I've just gotten to the point where like I've embraced it, and it's become like synonymous with the brand, which is incredible to see.
Yeah. Well, and I feel the same way when it's like, you know, sometimes you put on your outfit for a gig, you look at yourself in the mirror, like, I don't know if I'd like this guy. But if you want to be crazy, if you want to be George Clinton coming out of the mothership in 1974, it's like you have to take these people to a place that they've never seen before. And
All
to do
funkin' night.
Exactly, man. You got to be so real with yourself. It's like, check the ego. You're in character. As much as it may be ridiculous, you need to be there for it.
Yeah, yeah. And with that being said, like, do you think that when you're performing, all right, when you're performing and you're giving them this experience, like I talked about earlier, the Matt Waters experience, if you will, if you're given this experience, do you notice that people, like, I don't want to say relate to you because they're in the experience with you, but do you think they like vibe into your like lane when you connect with them, or do you think that you're giving them a show? Is it more of like you're connecting in like the mental state, or are you putting on performance that they can enjoy? Is it because there's times when you're locked in and the people that are watching you are just as locked in. You're just
Totally, if you do it well.
Right.
You know,
right.
I've always described it as like when you go to a show and you can be watching the headliner, you know, but there might be one person going nuts in the front. That person going nuts in the front is your permission to go nuts in the back. You know, like there's a certain level of craze and mania that lets people get into that side of themselves that may need let out. And I fully embrace wanting to go there myself. Like I want to step up and play every day because I want to feel that, and I kind of need it. But there's levels where not only has someone been given the permission to go there and to get weird in that regard, but they've given me that permission. You know, they've gone to this point where they're putting as much into the show as I am. So we stand there together, and then whatever happens after that is blissful grace. It is agreement in the room.
Yes, blissful grace. That's quotable.
Well,
for sure.
It's a plane you get to live on. Like you think about the best shows you've ever seen in your life. Like McCartney was the one that changed me forever. Like I'm a 15-year-old kid seeing McCartney at Great American, and just the way he tells a story about a song makes you feel like you could be in the early 60s.
Yeah.
You know, you think about what it meant for this guy to be 21 years old. And when someone gives you that permission to feel what they felt, to share in that experience, you are forever changed, you know?
Forever, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, when they leave that experience and they see that you've put everything on the table and they've taken it all off the table and then put it in their pocket and they leave there, they're telling people about the story. They're now fantasizing about that experience being replicated the next time they go to watch your show. And not only that, they are like they become this true fan that when they see your posts, they can, like, even the text that you put in the post. You talked about having someone that run your social media.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter if you're posted or not. They can just read the text and they'll be like, oh, man, this is everything that I want. I'm going to make sure I like it, and I'm going to go back to it later because now social media is a big part of things. But
Totally.
Like, yeah.
But it revisits that nostalgia.
Right.
And, like,
yeah.
You know, I would never trust someone with the job of doing my posting if it wasn't someone that I adored so much and revered so much. Like, this is someone that went from being one of the only fans in my life that fully understood me to being one of my closest friends who I consulted about a lot of my artistic endeavors to now being someone that is in this network that helps me get my job done. Where it's like I don't have the time to sit there and post everything after I've already made it. So I trust you to know what I would say in these moments and to play the character as much as I have to play the character.
Correct, right.
So when she does so brilliantly, You know, it's like it makes it even more admirable. It's like you know my humor well enough to impersonate me. You know my isms well enough to put that in there and to ask people to interact with that. Because then if someone does go in the comment section, to give me that 5 seconds of their time to participate in a post, now I can come in myself, and appreciate them and interact with them and fuck around.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
exhausted about watching something load and be done posting for the day. It's like, I'm coming in fresh. You said some funny shit. I got some funny shit. They said some funny shit. It's
Yeah,
like, now
yeah.
we're vibing, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that is what leads to lifelong fans and people beyond fans. They become family because, like, I remember, like with my band when we first had our a fan page Street Team created, and I didn't create it. It was literally in the internet, and someone came up with the bright idea to come up with a fan page and Street Team, and I was like, and I was building a Street Team, but they were like, I had just released it, and another random person on the internet came up with a fan page Street Team. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
This person is embodying everything that I've embodied in my band.
They're taking this from you and they're doing the legwork themselves. It's like, and that's when you know that you poured enough in.
Right.
That someone else, I have a one primary teammate in my life. It's my buddy Jordan. He moved here from Sandown, New Hampshire, to do this job. He is someone that stepped up in a big way as a fan, then became a friend, then became my number one. The person that I go to when I need anything. And there's something magical about when someone feels like you've done enough for them to want to take over. It's like when you're standing on the side of the court and you're watching your teammate give everything they got. It's time for them to sub out.
Yeah.
Step out of the game. I got this. I'll take the layup.
Right.
I'll do those little things that's going to get us across the finish line. Because camaraderie doesn't come by easy tasks. Camaraderie comes by multiple people lifting a weight that they never saw being liftable. They never saw themselves being capable of getting that shit off the ground.
Right, right.
But then when the right people come into your life, suddenly you're holding this overhead, walking down the mountain that you wanted to be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are in victory mode.
You're in victory mode. You're in celebration mode, and you're also in like you're kind of in a new lane then, because if you feel that sense, because that's stability. There's some stability in that. So like when you come to that point where you're able to like have that experience, because I don't think everyone truly gets that, because like there's a lot of people out there that would love to be performers, or they are performers and they haven't seen the level of success to be able to you have a someone that is a partner, right-hand man, or whatever the case may be, or just somebody that you trust. They don't have to be any connotation of sorts.
But someone you trust.
Exactly,
Someone that
someone you
sees
trust.
everything you do about the business.
Right. When you have someone like that and you've put the time in for them to like align with you, and they're their own person, right? They have their own story. They have their own like ins and outs and things that they're strong with. But you have put the vessel out. You're like, all right, I've got this thing that I've built the base. We got the bread. We got the meat. Now we just need some condiments on this, right?
Yeah.
And like, what condiments are you bringing to the table? Like, well, bro, I'm a hot sauce.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'll take some hot sauce.
Totally.
But like,
You bring something different in that regard. And it's like, and sometimes you need to take the hands off the wheel and let people step up in the ways that they want to step up. It's like, with Jay returning back to this, like it's a moment in time where you know that you've stretched yourself too thin on the amount of things you want to do, and someone steps up and maybe they don't want to take certain things off your plate, but they have other things they want to add into the sphere of what you do. And slowly through compromise and understanding and communication, this person frees up your capacity to then reinvest in yourself, your family, the things that fuel you. Like I'm a big believer that if you don't operate at your best self, if you don't take care of you, you can't be there for the people that depend on you.
For sure.
So these folks that they want to give outside of their own capacity to do so, it's like, burn yourself too quick, you're going to find yourself with nothing. If you burn it too hot at both ends of the candle, you're going to end up in the middle with nothing to offer. If you take care of yourself, if you make sure this is a lifelong pilot light that people can gas up and turn on for the right reasons, then you have provided an amenity.
I mean, that's the tough thing about the situation, man, is like you can never expect. Like I can never expect Andrew to care about this as much as I do, right? Until he feels that he's got a seat at the table. Like once he feels like he's got his own silverware and he's ready to eat, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. Like on when it comes to you and I, we've got to get to the point where we can't. You feed more than just your own. The Waters family, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there was a moment, bro, where I thought I was the shit. Like 2016, maybe I had a store in Rookwood. And I had my, I call it my blinders because I was so I was focused on what I was doing, but I didn't see the broad perspective of what the capability was. And I had a meeting with one of the investors, like the company investors of Procter and Gamble. So I had to sit down with this guy. And I told him everything that was going on with the brand, and I had this store in Rookwood Commons that was super dope, and Gary Owen was coming to the store already, and the guy told me, he was like, "This is a good business for Jay and his family, but it won't put food on anyone else's plates." And I wanted to choke him, bro. I was so aggravated and so angry about what he was saying, but he was telling me the truth, bro, to a T. He was like, this is a good business for Jay and his family, but it's not going to make any money for anybody else. He's like, if you're cool with that, cool, but if you're not, you've got to figure out how to put more food on the table for everybody. Mm-hmm. And like I said, man, when I thought I was a shit, and then I had somebody that came up and took my balloon was only this big, and he took a little needle and said, you need to back to the drawing board, player. And instead of getting mad, I listened to what he said, and I got better, bro. I listened to it, and I was like, all right, I've got my blinders on. I'm thinking about Cincinnati. I'm thinking about Cincinnati, when I should be thinking on a broader perspective. So that's when I started bringing the area codes in and started doing other area codes around the town. Mm-hmm. And at that point, now there's more meat on the table, bro. So I was able to get to the point where it's like, okay, now I've got something that's going real well, and now I need to start delegating stuff. So instead of delegating stuff, I've got a group of friends that are next to me, and whoever's ears perk up when I'm talking, right? Like if I'm saying something, and all of a sudden Andrew's gets a little bit closer to conversation, and then he's perking up and he's listening, and I'm saying, this is what we need, this is how we're going to get better at doing it. And I have friends that have stood up and said, I can make this better. And then I've got friends that go, bro, fucking keep going, bro. You know what I mean? And I love both of them just as equally, bro. But if what I've always said is I'm not going to I'm not going to pull your seat out for you and say, here, have a seat. You need to find where you need to sit. Find what you're good at and double down on it. And if you can find a seat at this table, then we're all going to be able to eat. Because if you can pull out that seat, sit down on it, and go, yo, I can bring this to the table, then I'm sliding you a piece of steak, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's the thing. That's
powerful.
Bro, and but it's so hard to do, because how do you get to the point where Andrew believes in native as much as I do, right? Because no one's going to believe in Matt Waters and the recipe as much as Matt Waters does, right? But you get to a point where people find their roles and they find their grooves, and and Andrew's a phenomenal musician, right? This is a musician job without the music. All it is you just got to pivot. You just got to figure out how to grab that ball, move one foot, and be able to take everything that you've known for the past 20 years and implement it in somebody else's, a business to create your own lane. Yeah. And we're at the point now where it's I'm indispensable without him. There's nothing, I wouldn't be able to run the ship without him. You know what I mean? He's made himself indispensable, and that's what I keep telling Andrew is bro, get to the point where I can't lose you. You know what I mean? And I keep telling Tyrell that, and it's if you can get everybody on the team to be able to have their own piece of meat and cut it, and you're going to be in a good position for 5 years down the road, man.
Yeah, that's something I always grew up with my dad telling me is, become indispensable to the business you're a part of. And now that I run my own business, like choose the things to do that you couldn't delegate, and then delegate those things to people who are excellent.
Absolutely.
But people that also want to see you thrive. It's like, you want someone that's not only a participant, they are a fan of what's going on here. And to find people to be fulfilled by the work that you were asking them to do, it's a very difficult thing, especially when there's a lot of legwork involved in it. Like,
For sure.
I'm asking my man Jordan to drive 8 hours north, and he does most of the driving, so I can sit there and send out emails and do my shit. Then when we get there, we unload the car, we set it all up. He runs a light show from his phone while he runs the merch table all night. It's like, you ask the world of people that are in these number 2 slots, number 3 slots, that top 5% of the people that care about you and are willing to put in that legwork.
Right.
But if you can show them that you will share the keys to the kingdom, with grace and understanding and appreciation, then people believe that you should have the rights to that kingdom.
Always, bro, for sure.
But there's something so scary too in this world where certain people rise to the top, where you worry about your own ability to eat at that table, to take home enough, and sometimes you need to admit when you can't provide enough when folks
Always, man.
come to you with needs and whatnot.
Yeah, and you've got to double down on what you're good at, bro.
For sure.
And what, like you said, what you're not good at, you gotta find somebody to delegate to. And if you can find somebody to delegate your bads to, and they're good at it, all it's gonna do is just a high rise, a high tide rises all ships, bro. Like that's what our producer tells me constantly. Like, get the whole team up higher, bro. Like all tides, high rise. What did I just say? High rise, high tides rise all ships.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so genius, man. It's such a simple play on words, but it means so much, bro.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. It's like we all have to rise up, right? And having somebody like that in your corner, bro, it's gonna tenfold. You're gonna always depend on that dude, and when the time comes to move positions and to raise those tides, like that dude's gonna be raised up just the same amount that you are to the next level, right? And
sure.
then he's gonna be able to delegate business to to the people that need to run the merch booth and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the name of the game, man. Is to double down on what you're good at. Keep pushing the ball forward, man, and getting to that point where we can all eat. And that's like 2 hours ago we were talking about it. Just pushing a couple steps further every day. It doesn't have to be a home run, but if you can take 3-4 steps every single day, by the end of the week or by the end of the month, by end of the year, you're a lot further along than you thought, man. And that's just putting in the day to day. And the crazy thing is, man, like I stress over the day to day daily. Like every single day I'm stressing out. At the end of the month, it always works out, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It always ends up leveling out at the end of the month where everything's fine. It's like, all right, so we have another month that we can, push forward, do whatever we need to. And I'm just like I got the blinders on again. So it's like my day to day. I'm always stressing out about it when I need to stop doing that, because it's like, trust the process, bro.
Yeah, but there's something about being a
and
maniac.
trust the
It's like,
team.
you don't look too far ahead. Look at what you got to do right now.
Right.
Left foot, right foot. If you stress the little things in a day, it shows a love and care for excellence. I was talking to my fiance about this. She is a perfectionist to her own fault. But when people need perfectionists, there's no one else you would want on that job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I want you to do one task to the nth degree. And until you are satisfied, I am not satisfied. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
Let's push to that level of crazy, because it also takes maniacs to make special shit happen.
Always, bro.
I hear you say this, and it reminds me of a job. I used to cater food, purchased my home on catering food of all things. And one of the places that I catered food at, the lady, because you always go to like a manager or receptionist when you do catering. You get there before anyone shows up. You're dealing with a manager, receptionist, yada yada, someone that's the point of contact.
Yeah.
So this one lady, I would never forget her. This one lady worked at this law firm, and we brought in like plastic silverware as part of the job, because everything's throwaway. You drop catering, set up, and you leave. Well, she was like she would never let us use the plastic stuff. She would always have their own silverware. She would set it out, and she would like almost like slap your hand, like, don't touch that. Don't no, I've got better stuff. But she was so important with the details across the board. And this is just catering food. This isn't brain surgery. This isn't anything like over the top, because it's just deli sandwiches and different things and sides and whatever. But like, she would like have all the silverware set up perfectly, and she's like, it's all about the detail. And she was like, I don't know where she was from, somewhere in Asia, whatever. But like, she was like, it's all about the detail every time. Just remember that. And she wasn't teaching me anything. I knew my job, but she would bring out the silverware, set it up perfectly, and she's like, I don't need the plastic. You can take that with you. And I'm like, okay. But I never really thought about it until one day I was leaving. I was like, man, that lady she's so consistent. Every time I come here, she doesn't let me put the plastic out. She has these metal forks, and she sets them out, metal spoons, sets them out perfectly, because they're catering to 50 people. So it's a bunch of metal. It's a extra work. It's not easy.
Yeah.
The whole process wasn't easy. She set it all out for every person. And I'm like, man, the attention to detail for a catering food for one business meeting on a Tuesday, and she's putting her heart and soul in that one meal. And I was like, and it's not at home. You're not feeding people you love. You're feeding Joe that's coming in from Atlanta to have a business meeting with this law firm. That's it. But she would be down to the details, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man. And I just thinking about, I'm like, this is just a job to me, but to her, this is everything. And like those down to that detail.
But she's smart with it.
It's so smart with it. It really opened my eyes. I was like, and I only been working the job at that point like 2 months.
And I was
new. I was new.
You utilize that in your day to day now, especially once you got back from Disney World. You were like, bro, everything like like our store, like we pride on this whole like interactive retail, right? Like, there's no store like this on the planet. You can't go into somewhere and find clues on the wall and then find a hidden store within a hidden store,
right? Yeah.
Where you can find the coolest clothes on the planet, according to John Teeter, the time traveler from 2036.
Yep.
So the fact that we've got this, and then you go to Disney World, Disneyland, and you're like, bro, the attention to detail over there was insane. Like everything, like even like the. Where you're talking about the rocks, like everything was like
Star Wars Land.
Yeah, like everything was implemented and everything was done like specifically. But that's Disney World, bro. Like that you've everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, there's a purpose for something,
dude.
Right?
Dumbo's Land, like where they had the circus and everything. Man, they had these peanuts in the ground everywhere. So like the ground was just normal, but they like had put these fake peanuts and they painted them, every peanut across the entire. I mean, this is a large area. It's not 5 feet. We're talking a mile of land, half a mile of land of these little peanuts everywhere and just scattered. And they painted every peanut because those are the peanuts of the circus on the ground. That's detail.
But that's the thing. Like as artists, like as a musician and as a clothing designer, like. The attention to detail, like honestly, a good example on my end is using that 16 by 20 platen, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a platen, which is just a piece of plastic that you print on. So there's no electronics on it. All it is just a piece of plastic that drops into this $20,000 printer. It was a $700 piece that's 16 by 20, but that lets you print the logo this big on the back of the shirt, 16 inches wide, 20 inches long. Now, something like that costs me a lot of money to start printing on, but when the consumer sees the shirt and sees the logo that's instead of 10 and a half or 11 inches wide, it's 15 inches wide, there's something in your head that goes, that's different. I like that. And you don't know why, right? But it's only because the logo is outside that standard color box of 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17. Like 11 by 17, once you break that down, 10.5 by 16.5, that's not a big logo on a shirt. So the fact that we can do 16 wide by 20 tall, that's one of those things when you see the shirt, you don't realize the attention to detail. Like you look at it and you go, that's dope. Right, and so the same thing with you with the silverware that she was laying out. You don't go, wow, she did a good job, or wow, he did a good job. You just look at it and go, mental note,
Right.
there's something in there that goes, I like it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like it's so weird, bro. Same thing. I'm sure you've got your own little like critiques that you do in music that we do here. You know, the 16 million colors on logos, like we were talking about your tie-dye shirt. If you try to get that silkscreen through
Tie-dye.
anybody else, like they wouldn't be able to silkscreen it. You would have to go to a DTG printer, and and finding a DTG printer is like a needle in a haystack. You can go to like Columbus or a couple other places within a couple of hours to get it done, but being able to house it right here where you can come into the levee and get it printed and then get them out the door, like you can't find that stuff anywhere, man. But those are the things that it's the wow factor. It's the attention to detail that people don't realize. When you can when a logo has a fade on it, instead of the dots that change the red to orange or red to yellow, if it really fades, there's a wow factor inside your brain. You don't know what it was, but there's a I like this better than that. And it's the same thing with music. You're like there's a, you know, whether it's the hook or whether it's the bass line, there's something in that song. And you go, wow, I like this, and you don't know what it is, but you know what it is because that's your mentality, that's your
medium.
lane, yeah, bro.
Well, it's like, you know, it's about how you recorded something. It's about how you printed. It's about how you worked with the audio file. But it also
always, bro. Jack Johnson's really good with that too. He does everything. He records everything individually. So instead of a whole band going in and performing and recording. Hey, Mark Murkhofer, what up, big dog?
Hey, what up?
So instead of doing that, they're able to. We got Mark Murkhofer. Hold on, he's pulling up right behind.
What's up, boy? How you doing?
There it is, Matt Waters. That's Mr. Murkhofer right there. I'm sure you've seen his clothes bouncing around.
We
are
live.
live.
Yes.
Yeah. So nipples are good. Nipples are cool.
Free it.
What up?
There you go. So Murkhofer, he owns a clothing line called Vanguard. We were just talking about attention to detail, bro, and you're very good at that as well. Like when it comes to your clothing designs and stuff, you know, you always make sure that you've got that Vanguard triangle, like hanging off either the handkerchief, like you've got it on the logo. Like we were just talking about attention to detail and how important that is. That people can't realize they see the shit, right?
It's that extra step. Do you want me talking here?
For sure, bro.
It's that extra step of detail. Oh, shit. My bad.
You can pull it up if you want.
It's that extra step of detail, really, that people don't realize. Like when I do a run of Vanguard, I pick them up from our printer, you know, same one, and take them, drop them off to get tags sewn on. Then pick them up 3 days later, drive across town,
drop them off at Native, bro. You done it all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, and people don't recognize that when they get a piece of apparel and say, oh, well, you know, this guy sews this extra tag on. You know, nobody says, oh, dope shirt, dope tag. But it's just that extra
attention to
detail that really makes that product worth the price you're going to sell it for.
100%,
if you want to make
bro.
if you want to charge a premium for a premium T-shirt, you have to treat it as such.
Absolutely, bro. And that's the thing. That's what we're saying. Like people don't realize when they see that little tag on the side of the shirt, they don't go, oh man, that's why I bought the shirt.
Right.
But they look at that and they go, like they see these things and it's just all tallying up in their head and they don't know why they want to buy
value.
this shirt. It builds value, 100%.
Builds value, 100%.
So what, are you coming to see a movie tonight?
Oh man, we just saw Top Gun.
How was it, bro?
So hard.
Was it really?
Bro, I can't believe I just said so hard. But it was an excellent movie, man.
No, dude.
Swear to God.
I mean, bro. Like if you're gonna, I'm very, very hard when it comes to criticizing like making old movies remakes again. Like
Yes.
Top Gun's one of those things where like, bro, you don't want to touch it, but if you're gonna bring Tom Cruise involved,
Oh no, this isn't a remake. This is just a sequel.
no, 100%.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like something like, especially 20, 25 years, maybe in 30 years
Well,
later.
you know Tom Cruise doesn't age because of Scientology.
Jesus Christ, dude. He's got
He sleeps
bought
in a
in,
cryogenic
he's got
freezer.
Mission Impossible coming out. He's in the middle of filming it right now.
Right.
Like he's like 67 years old or something, bro. He's like,
It's insane, dude. That's
Just-
what Hollywood money gets you, though.
you know,
Doing
yeah,
his own
right.
stunts, baby.
Right.
you know,
It's true.
he broke his ankle shooting the
Mission Impossible?
the last Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He jumped. He does all of his own stunts. So he jumped from building to building, bro. And when he did this jump, I'm talking 25 feet from building to building, and you see his arms wailing. And once he hits the building, he grabs onto it, but he didn't jump as far as he should have. So his left foot hit the side of the building and snapped his ankle.
I think there's a video of it on YouTube.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh.
They used it in the They used it in the movie.
Yeah.
The actual shot in the movie was the shot that he broke his ankle on.
Could you imagine being that age and like, you know, when I jumped from that waterfall, man, I'm 41, or if I was 41 then, 42 now, but man, it took me like 8 months to heal.
Yeah,
imagine
no.
being in your 60s and breaking your leg like that.
In the middle of a movie.
In the middle of shooting.
Going back to your next
but
shot.
then opting to do your own stunts.
Right.
I mean, that's just
Maniac.
next level, man. That's
Bro, I
that
think
Scientology money gets you, man. It gets you it gets you the adamantium skeleton legs that Wolverine has.
that's funny.
Right.
Yeah, when you're at the top of the food chain over there, that's
right.
for
They
sure.
Yeah.
just take your bones out and put all like aluminum and metal in, and
Fill you with some kind of like
right. It's
metallic.
not even blood.
Right.
That's funny, man.
But yeah, excellent movie, man. I mean, they did. I'm obviously not going to ruin it for anybody. They did excellent job of tying in the first movie.
Did you get something special for coming down? Because Tuesday was the first date of it.
Dude, I got a really corny poster you can have.
All right.
Oh, you don't want to give that us, Barbara. Jill's gonna be like, "Why'd you give my poster away, bro?"
What's she doing out there?
What's she doing?
I'm
Hey, baby.
not done on the podcast yet. Come on in,
Right, go on in here. Introduce you to some folks.
Jill. How are you? What's going on?
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
I've seen millions of photos and all the good stuff online.
Yeah.
Good to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Matt Waters. He's a musician here
How we
in
doing,
Cincy.
fam?
Hi.
Such a
Bro,
pleasure.
you need to listen to this dude, man. He's
Yeah?
got bro, like Gary Clark Jr. vibes.
Oh, wow.
Like
That's
he's
heavy.
ridiculous.
Some rock
bro.
stuff for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Clark's dope, man. That's huge.
He's ridiculous when it comes
I wish I
to
could play an instrument, man. I can beatbox sometimes when I'm drunk.
That ain't a bad way to do it, man. The mouth is an instrument. Depends on how you play it. You know.
Yeah, but it's just that, it's just that finger coordination, man. When you're playing a guitar, man.
bro.
It's
He
just next level.
he zones out, man.
Yeah.
It's a good time, man. It's everything you would hope it'd be. You know what I mean? It's like driving a car, but instead it just gets loud as fuck, and you get a little angry at it. It's nice. Break a string every once in a while feels good.
That's
Hey,
hilarious, dude.
I think there's nothing more dope than people who can just pull out a guitar, especially if you're like at a fire, like having at a fire pit
Oh,
or
bro, for sure.
campfire, and all of a sudden somebody starts singing, it just instantly becomes a vibe.
Bro,
You gotta hope. Sometimes people cringe at that. You never know.
Hey,
You
save some pussy for the rest of us.
Hey man, no, I'm engaged. No, the rest of it's for you. Don't worry about it.
bro, he's
People who
he's
play
got the
guitar and-
chesticles out.
Chesticles, yeah.
We already talked about that earlier, bro.
Man, people that just play guitar, man, that's just dope, man.
Yeah.
It's like you're just a walking you're just entertainment anywhere you go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to see him, bro. So last time we interviewed him about a year ago on the podcast outside, and after the podcast, we actually went into the lab, and then he ate the world's hottest hot wing. His whole band did, him and the whole
It
band,
was
and then they
violent.
immediately had to play their new song. So like
Right afterwards?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had them all sitting up there, and then I like came out from the back room with like a plate of 4 hot wings,
Plastic gloves on and all.
with the mega dust sauce from Hot Ones.
That sounds awful.
And oh, bro, it was so dope because like he literally had to eat the whole wing and then immediately had to start performing like 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah,
then
there's
second.
tears streaming
It's a
down my
dope
face and
challenge,
shit. It is. I definitely not one for spicy foods, but I do it for Jay. But it was messy, dog. Like everything about what's going on in your face just pouring out your nose. You're like, Jesus Christ.
I remember I was with Brandon Masters, he guitarist for Zebras in Public.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he does.
Hey,
he does a
I'm familiar,
tasting.
yeah.
Oh yeah, super dope band.
Familiar, yeah.
I would just wish Zeb would come back. 'Cause that was the
Yeah.
the core of the band.
That's
But,
awesome.
The glue to it.
Dude,
yeah,
I
we did a
remember them.
tasting
Yeah.
Of hot wings, and I don't remember what the hottest sauce was, but I just remember it gave multiple people hiccups.
That's crazy, right?
Uncomfortable hiccups for
Yeah,
like
dude.
20 minutes.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh my God, this isn't even enjoyable.
Bro, so Tyrell, he was the one of the group that couldn't handle the Hot Ones chip or the Packy chip. So the first year we did it, he made it to 5 minutes, but then threw up immediately afterwards.
Oh.
And then this year's chip, we had him do it on the podcast, and literally like he ate it and then dipped out and then ran to the bathroom and puked.
He
Bro.
ran, yeah.
I've heard they're not even tasty.
There's no
I mean, at least
taste.
put some salt on it.
There's no taste. It's just straight fire.
It's just straight like.
Does it go
it's-
away? Is it linger? Is it a linger hot?
It
this-
stays with you. Yeah.
So
I
this
take it you've done it.
this
I have.
yeah. So this year this year's was over twice as worse as last year's.
Yeah.
Like when we ate it, 10 minutes into it, it would kind of go away. But this year's, it was like you felt it in your stomach, like exactly where it was. And the next day, I was like, I've got COVID, bro. I came into work, I was sweaty, I felt hollow behind my nose, like it was all crazy. And I was like, I've got COVID. And then when he came in for his shift at 4, sweaty, bro. And I'm like, okay, at least I don't have COVID. It's just the fucking
Like
chip.
12
alone,
hours
yeah.
later.
Dude, 24 hours later.
24. It lasted really 3 days, if not
Oh my
longer.
God.
Yeah, it was the whole
Jesus.
thing. I mean, I was literally feeling it 2 weeks later. Like, I don't know if it's like a PTSD type of thing after it did straight up, not even
Yeah,
joking.
I
But
believe
like
that.
you really I was eating some other spicy thing 2 weeks later. We're talking 14 days plus, and I would feel like, oh man, am I eating a hot chip right now? What is happening? Why am I feeling?
You feel like it
the
maybe
same?
burned the lining of your stomach in a
maybe
way?
I don't know, because you've had wings at like Hooters or wherever, B-dubs, and it's hot, but with that chip it like has a unique feeling.
They douse it with this dust, bro. So
Something
that dust is just stuck in your intestines.
stays in your system, whatever, and like what goes in must come out, right? So like it,
Cool.
even after it comes out,
You just had to dab it.
you have to really that's a really like that experience on the said toilet is definitely not for the weak, man. You have to like focus in, but like at the same time, after it's all done, it still lingers, and you can feel it when you eat, when you cough, when
Yeah.
you sneeze. You
Oh,
can feel
man.
that like it's just a
It's
spice
the first
that
time
comes
you
up.
bought a Tux medicated pad, wasn't it? You're like, am I too young for this?
No, I mean,
I'm gonna wear glasses in this store.
like the year before it was bad, but this year's was like, I don't know what they did to maximize the
I don't know what they're
experience.
They
do
probably
next-
saw too many people taking it as a champ and was like, all right, look,
Yep.
we're gonna.
All right,
and I don't know what they're gonna do next year to top it, and other than just like I don't know. Like
How do you
the
top
chip was
that?
twice as thick as it was last year.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
How do
the
you top
the
that?
chip
I
the
don't
year before, like we had 30 of them here. A lot of them were already cracked in the bag. This year's the chip was twice as thick, and
Solid.
it was just doused with dust, bro. So like for me, like when I did the chip, I was talking to the camera. So the dust was going in my throat, so it was done. Like, and so for everyone else, like that didn't have to talk, it wasn't as bad. But as soon as that shit gets caught in your throat, like your throat just closes up, bro. It's just like, huh.
Make sure you
Don't-
wash your hands before you pee, right?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
You wear gloves, so when you put
Come
the
with
chip in
gloves
your
with it?
Yeah, we made everybody wear
made
gloves.
we made sure they had gloves. It doesn't come with gloves. It's just a package. It's actually shaped. The packaging shaped like a coffin, so it already tells you, what this is that store's doorstep. Good luck, but like we made sure people had latex gloves so that when you put it in, you take the gloves off, so then you can touch your eyes, because when you put a chip in your mouth like that, all bets are off. At that
Yeah.
point, you're just dealing with the consequences of putting something
You don't
on
even
that
realize
level.
what you're doing,
Yeah,
bro.
you're-
Like Tyrell was trying to fly away.
He was.
He just kept doing this
He
on the
was.
podcast. Didn't know what he was doing.
He wasn't going anywhere, but he was trying. He was trying to fly through the ceiling, and it was hilarious from the outsiders. Like we were all there's like 5 of us watching him wave his
You
arms.
just kept
and
laughing
trying
to
to
keep
go.
yourself from crying,
You
too.
were right? Yeah, it was an experience, and I think that experience is it's one in a million. That's why they're able to do what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't get that anywhere else than putting that chip in
I've
your
seen
mouth.
people also do like the hot ramen challenge, where like they eat like the like the ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Sure.
They can buy those off Amazon, and I guess it's like a very small serving of ramen.
Yeah, we're gonna try to team up with Hen of the Woods chips, bro, and try to do our own little native chip challenge, man. Because I
Tap
actually,
me in on that.
yeah, bro, it'd be fun, man.
Hey,
We
great
need to get
seeing
you on the
you.
podcast soon,
Yeah,
bro,
let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Reach out,
Let's set up a
man.
day. Let's make it happen.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely.
fellas.
Yep.
They
All
always
right,
come
Mark
through.
Murcoffer, Jill, it's
Yeah.
good meeting you. We'll
Yep.
see you guys. All right, back to the man at hand, Matt Waters, bro.
Hey,
No,
little
man,
intermission there.
I appreciate you for dedicating 5 minutes of your podcast to a friend of ours, man.
Dude, I'm happy. The amount that y'all wave on this show just shows that like open glass windows is a reason that this place.
bro, that's the best part.
You guys are lovable people. You make friends with who you got to make friends with. Like, and it doesn't matter who comes on the show for any particular reason. This is about sharing the experience of this store.
Bro, that's why
Yeah.
the store's open while we do it. You know,
Yeah.
we have some hiccups like we did earlier. There was somebody just standing at the front counter waiting to check out. And that's the thing about the store, bro. It's like we do this while it's open because we want people to be able to come in and say hi and do stuff. But like these glass windows are crazy, bro. Like this is definitely like we call it the peanut gallery because like there's a whole group of people on the other side of the windows and like they can't hear us, but they look in. They go, "Wow, this is awesome."
Yeah.
So you know,
It's
you
a
get
production,
You
you know?
get a wave to them, and they're like, "Oh my God, they're waving at us! Wave back! What are we gonna do? Wave back!"
Right,
Oh,
right.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I did it.
And then you find the people that are like they have something going on and they're like they're artists or something and they'll pop in once in a while and they'll like shout out themselves. And I love those moments because that's their moment of like I got 15 seconds.
Totally.
Let's
They're
just
share the
yeah,
show
bro.
for that 15 seconds.
let's go for it because they're going for it. You know what I mean? I could just remember myself like I remember a random moment with the band is we were going to Warped Tour and someone got into a wreck right off the exit where Warped Tour at Riverbend and that stopped traffic. And I had 500 CDs that we were going to hand out at Warped Tour at the end. You just drop them in cars as people are leaving. It's the most effective way that I found because people are leaving. They're gonna put it in whatever. But I was like, you know what, guys? Let's get out and let's hand them in this traffic jam.
Genius.
So we walked down the highway. Me and all the band. There was 5 plus me.
We're
and
playing this exit right now,
Bro,
Get
we
here.
walked down the highway and we just dropped in everyone's cars. People in like their sunroofs were dropping them in, and it was the most amazing
Guerrilla
experience,
marketing.
dude. It was the most amazing experience. Walking back when you get to the very end, we're walking back and everyone's like at the same part of the same song. Because when they get the CD, you're like, yeah, I'm
Totally.
putting this in.
But they're bored. They're stuck in traffic.
Right,
you
they're
know?
sitting there. So we're dropping CDs. We're walking back, and everyone's playing my song. But that moment of me jumping at the podcast, right, and I'm like yelling out my name to the world, and that moment, it just reminds me every time someone does that because I'm walking back on the highway and people are listening to my music real time, and it was. It changed me at that point forward. And when I was early, we were handwriting. I was handwriting every CD.
Yeah.
Period. Like every single one at the end. Dash Ocean Grid, every single one. But like or OG, I used to put on OG and everything. But like it's just that moment. I see people coming in, getting their moment to jump on our podcast to say whatever their handle is. I don't care. Doesn't matter what you're doing. But you had the bravery to come up here in a live setting while people are talking about stuff that has nothing to do with you. You're gonna drop your tag. And
Totally.
I respect it.
And at what
to the end.
and at what point is that going to be like Kodak, the next Kodak Black? That's like, hey, I'm the next big thing. And you're
Right.
like, all right. And so
Yeah.
like 2 years later, you're like, holy shit, I think I know that guy. Wait a minute, you have to
Yeah.
like go back in the videos and see that stuff. Man.
It just reminds me of a time that I was ambitious in that moment. I was like, listen, and that kid, because this one kid was like, he was like 12, and he was like, I got Instagram, I got this, you gonna follow me? And I'm like, you what? Yeah, I will follow you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like I will. I bet you if you're calling out right now, in 10 years, where are you gonna be at 22? Like,
Totally.
you know what I mean? So it's, and at 32, who knows
Holy
where you're gonna
shit,
be?
Elton John's here.
Hey, wow, really?
That's a nice
Yep.
vibe, though. You know,
His kicks and
sometimes when
everything.
you see shirts with rhinestones on them, you get the worst vibe.
Bro, no, I love it. And that not only is he rocking a button down with rhinestones, he's got red sunglasses on
Fuck yeah, inside,
inside.
Inside.
And it's dark out right now.
It is.
straight pimping.
Bro, you know what? He probably saw. He probably went to go see Top Gun with the fam.
Yep.
Facts.
Yeah.
I saw some people walking into the bathroom full on Top Gun it out, and I was like, I had no idea what was going on. I just thought this was an intrusion into a regular restroom experience for my life, but I like that they live it bold, man. Do what you gotta do.
But you know what though? Like, you know what's crazy is today's Tuesday and they're already premiering Top Gun. So that means that they're giving them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're giving them 3 extra days to try to make that 100 mil on the opening weekend, right? Because opening weekend is Friday, Saturday,
Friday.
Sunday to try to make that money. But if they're already releasing it on Tuesday, I mean, you know, movies are different these days, anyways, bro. Like, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like which, by the way, like these online services, dude, I'm getting to the point where like it's out of control, man. Like I keep forgetting about shows, and like just last night, like Kane was like, "Holy shit, I forgot all about Severance." Severance was this dope ass show on Apple Plus, but that's just another one of the bunch. And you know, we got Fire Sticks all through the house, and Fire Stick. You know, of course, just like every other company on the planet, they're not going to advertise the companies that they don't want. So, like Apple Plus and HBO, you never find them on your like last seen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like on the Fire Stick where you got like your apps, like your 5 apps, then you got like, oh, you can click all the apps here. Like Apple and HBO are never on those for me, bro. So like when I always forget about the shows just because of that little thing that Amazon does, man.
Yeah. Well, it's odd, like they got to play for their own team, but in that regard, it's like this is a great time for all media sources because there are more players in the game. There's more distributors, and there's more money to go around in that. It's like, we've gotten closer in all regards, people making top-notch content in their basement.
Oh, bro.
So see where it
For
goes, follow the wave of it.
So
Firefly.
One of the biggest actresses on the planet is
Amber Heard.
Don't get me started, bro. I gotta be home at 10, man.
I gave you a chance, dog. I gave you a chance.
He's throwing the bait.
You said it.
Here's the carrot.
yeah.
Get him started. Just do it. It'll be open at 11.
Dude, I like it. It is that Amber Heard shit's wild, bro.
Yeah, dude,
It's
it's awesome.
wild. But
Johnny's best role thus far.
Julia Roberts, Julia
placed
Roberts
that.
is one of the best actresses on the planet, right? And now she's in some show on like a third party. She's got a new movie out. I can't remember what it's called, man, but it's like it's not even on Prime or Amazon or like any of those. It's on like not even Hulu. It's like the fifth or sixth like narrative up. But like for them to grab Julia Roberts and for her to say, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just shows you that it's an open market for any of these apps, bro.
Yeah.
All of them, every single one.
Everyone's putting their number out there, and surprising people come up and take that. But I think it's also like that's when you start to realize how big the world is for like musical features.
100%, bro.
And collabs, it's like people need to cross boundaries in that regard and show different listener pools what they're capable of, because you never know when something's going to hit that far home.
For sure.
Like you may be someone that loves a folk singer-songwriter vibe, and somehow there's some odd hip-hop feature that speaks way truer to your soul than any other piece of rap or hip-hop that you've ever heard,
Right.
And then you follow it back downstream. It's like if you have bingeable content, if you have a chance for these people to get engrossed in who you are as a person, just that small inkling will make them that lifelong fan. That's really special.
It's all about the little things, bro. It's all about grabbing those moments like that you don't realize are happening. Like when the kid comes in and you're like, yeah, I'm the mad scientist, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's moments like that where like you don't realize that you're capturing a fan or capturing the attention of somebody that could potentially be a fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just living your life and doing your thing, bro. But like the way that you live it, like you're gonna grab fans that haven't even heard your music yet because of the person that you are and the vibe that you put off and your outlook on life. Like your next 5 years is gonna be great, bro, because you've got this not I don't give a fuck mentality. It's a I'm good where I'm at, but I need to get better, but I could get better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you're a dude. You're I can't even describe like how you are, man. You're this like lightning in a bottle, right? Like and the second that I heard your music, bro, I'm like, how is this guy not famous yet? And then you're like, I'm 22, 23. I'm like, how the fuck are you 22, bro? Like what is going on? And then you're like, yeah, I started playing music when I heard the song "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like,
Yeah.
how are you not in the music industry for the past 30 years? Because like what you're doing is so it's so above the norm when it comes to the music industry. Not only that, like your social media content. Like everybody needs to follow you, bro, because like what you do on your social media is entertaining as shit. You got the Mondays, you got the Wednesdays, and then you got all the live content on the music that you're doing too, man. So you got so many things that you're putting out there. Of course, people are gonna gravitate towards you, but like once they hear your music, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
This guy's really good at this." And he's using all this to get us to listen to get us to see what he's good at.
For sure, you want to feed into the things that you find most valuable. But I think like if there's anything that I would like to tell your fans and to attest to this, is like the best experiences come in a world that you can touch and feel and see and understand in person. So if you get the inklings from a little bit of the online content, if something does hit home well enough, give it a chance in the real world to blow your mind, to be something beyond anything you've ever experienced, or to fall flat on its face, give it equal opportunity to kick ass or eat shit, I really don't care. Just show up for me and I will give you that,
For sure, and that's the thing, man. When it comes to being an artist, bro, like you take things that you've worked months on, and you just take this, you crumble it up, throw it against the wall, and see if it sticks, bro. And you don't know what society likes. You know what you like, and you know what you think sounds good and what looks good, right? But as a clothing designer, like there's things that I do that people don't recognize. There's things as a musician that you do that people don't recognize. But you never know until you throw it against the wall, and then you're like, oh shit, all right, that one's still sticking, man.
Yeah.
So
And there's something really odd about that too. It's like, you don't realize how close you are to the truth until you start stating the obvious even to yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's like sometimes we do reinvent the wheel and we overcomplicate shit that we're working on.
Oh, bro, I'm a fucking pro at that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to admit to yourself, but it's like, if you always carry yourself with a level of humbleness that, like, I have done the work to earn this, but until it's here, I did not earn it.
Right.
It is not whether I think I have enough chips to cash in and be rich. It's whether or not I have what I've asked for. And to be insatiable in that is something that we all kind of deserve in the artistic pursuit.
Right. So you've got a new album coming out, right? And
Yeah.
it's a live album that you're doing. So that like to me, bro, that's a milestone, right? Because as a musician, as a young musician, you want to perfect everything. You want to make sure everything is like I was saying, the Jack Johnson content, where like you bring the guitar in, you record that. You bring the drums in, you record that. You bring the cajon in, and you record that. But with you doing you're doing a live album that you're recording.
So we did this live album in March. That was kind of like, it was a couple of years worth of frustrations kind of played out in one night. I'd gone through a lot.
Where'd you record this
At Radio Artifact over in Northside.
Oh,
Shout out
hell
to Devin
yeah,
Brooks.
dude. They just came out with the most expensive beer on the planet.
Really?
Yes, dude.
How much is it?
I do not know. I didn't click on it, man. I should have, bro.
Dude, they have some great beers down there. I love the sour world, like I love when it's like really fruit-based beer.
For sure.
Because it's high percentage, it tastes great, but it's very distinct.
Yeah.
But, this is a fabulous space with one of like the most like
acoustically sound.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Exactly. Sonically speaking, it is so it reciprocates what you put into it. And it's 100 cap, which is a really special number to me because I'm not surrounded by fans in the Cincinnati area. I got more fans outside the city than I do in it. That's for damn sure.
Isn't that weird, bro? That's how it always, like with musicians in particular, Cincinnati's always been that place where like they've always said like, I've got a better fan base outside the city, which has always been strange to me. But
I think I know why.
All right.
I think because Cincinnati has so many artists and we're filled with so much talent, there's not the capacity for them to be fan. They're more artist based. Because if you really think about it, how many artists are out of Cincinnati? We're filled. These shows, these hip hop shows, rock shows, metal shows, and pop shows are. There's so many. Every weekend there's something. Not every city has every weekend have 10 to 20 events. So there's so many artists, and the amount of fans that are spread among those artists really waters and saturates it down. Just because I could tell you right now 10 shows happening this weekend. I could bring it up on my phone, and 10 shows happening in this city. There might be cities, major cities, Indianapolis, that might only have 3 to 5 shows happening. Cincinnati, you've got. I mean, obviously the Mad Frog is closing, but you got Madison Live, Bogarts.
Is
Mad
it
Frog,
really?
Mad Frog is closing. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't know if anyone's
someone's gonna pick that up, clean it up, and flip it real quick.
Yeah. But like, there's just so many artists. That's where we run into because we've got all this passion, but artists are on the grind, right? They don't have time to go to another artist show as much. So they're like, there's just so many talented people, and that's a testament to the city. We live in a city with like the growth is amazing on artist level. Like we've got people that are coming out of the woodwork, making it, going the distance, and at the same time, they've got to spread the love with all the fans. And with other cities, there's more fans than there's artists. We just live in this this pocket in the Midwest, and
Yeah.
not a lot of cities like that. We're not that far from Nashville,
Yeah,
so like.
well, I think you touched on something where it's like, the listener populace needs to choose to take pride in that. And sometimes it comes from a rich history. Like people who like the Seattle scene know of the greatest rock stars to come out of Seattle. Like there's this world of like where Hootie and the Blowfish came out of, where it's like
Hey,
the
yeah.
Carolinas kick ass. Like,
Yeah.
People choose which rock stars they hold true. So within that, it's like, yeah, like there's an issue in Cincinnati where there's not a ton of fans to be had. But I know I come from a city of great musical history. I look at the Isley Brothers, I look at Bootsy, I look at what King's Records was, and it's like
Hey,
that
King's
makes me,
Rock is good for you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that makes me feel like the funk has been instilled in a place in my heart that I can own and try to take my own distance with it. So it's important to recognize your city's history and to be a fan of your city. And it's I can agree that there's a lot of talent in the city, but I think there's just a lack of appreciation for this low river town we have that does kick some serious ass.
Like
There is. I agree.
The way that I look at it, man, is I've always, like we've been doing this clothing line thing for a long time, bro. Like I started it probably over 10 years ago just as an idea, and I've gotten to the point now where like I finally don't have to explain it to people. Like if someone goes, "Oh, what do you do?" Like, "Oh, I own a brand called the Native brand." People are like, "Oh, I've heard of that." Like, so like I finally gotten to that point, which is incredible, man. But being here in the city, bro, it's one of those things where like they never want to like latch on or say, "Yeah, that's my dude," until you've broken the like this fake ceiling that everybody
Yeah.
puts on Cincinnati.
A self-imposed glass ceiling. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a very real industry. Like it's a thing about what happens when you're not in one of the major media outlets of the world, whether it be Nashville, LA, New
100%,
York.
because what they're talking about in that glass ceiling is basically the glass ceiling is the front door to California or the side door to the Florida bands. Like, that's like how do you break that mold, right? And it's you get to the point where like you're in grind mode, and like for me, like one of my favorite quotes that I've carried with me for the past 15 years is, "It takes years of blood, sweat, and tears to become an overnight success," right? And when you do, they say, "Wow, where did he come from?" But like they don't know that you've been putting in and you've been doing this stuff for years, bro. And out of nowhere they go, "Oh, Matt Waters, he's lucky." Oh, he got lucky, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But they
Yeah.
didn't realize that you've been doing the social media stuff and you've been grinding and you've been doing the weddings and driving and you got your buddy taking you to these places and being your merch booth. You know what I mean? Like there's all these moments that you like, all these blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it to get to this one moment where a stranger will finally go, "I know who Matt Waters is."
I feel the way about Anderson .Paak, man, where it's like you
Oh,
wonder where
bro.
he came from. It's like, no, if you're listening to Malibu back in 2016, that you know that this is the dude
Right.
who already has 15, 20 years put in. Okay, this is a hungry person, and suddenly in a year and a half we get Oxnard, we get all of his Dr. Dre features, and he comes out with Bruno and
Oh, yeah.
changes the game and brings it back home to Cincinnati, which is one of the greatest gifts in the world, is to see Bootsy back in the top 40 world being held as one of our greats, because there's a certain part of history that we turn a blind eye towards and act like it wasn't a big deal. It's like, no, that's one of the greats forever.
100%, bro.
So in this city especially, hold on to our heroes as close as we can.
And I'm glad that you said that too, man, because I've got like I've been lucky enough to hang out with some amazing musicians through the course of my life, and every single bass guitarist that I've met, when I say I'm from Cincinnati, they're like, "Bro, do you know Bootsy? Do you know Bootsy?" I'm like, "Bro, like I've met Bootsy, like and his son Uwe, like
yeah,
his
Uwe is a great dude too, man.
Yeah,
I've heard
bro.
amazing things.
Yeah, so it's like it's one of those things, man, where it's like, I love the fact that Bootsy gets the credit that he does. Like, shout out to Darwin Johnson. Darwin Johnson is one of the greatest like bass guitarists on the planet. He's toured with. I had a we were playing beer pong with Colby Calais actually Jubal, I brought Jubal down, and he ended up like getting a situation where I had to apologize for Jubal once again
Oh,
in the middle of the whole situation. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things, bro, where like you know, Darwin Johnson's just he's a bass guitarist that has done his dues and played with everybody. Like, and I've got my boy Donald is playing drums for Tony Bennett and
Gangster.
Lady Gaga.
So gangster.
So like seeing him on TV for that, you know, that Tony Bennett special, whatever. It's like, holy shit, dude! Like those are the moments that you live for, man. And like you don't realize, like as a musician, like because like just like I am, you got your blinders on, bro, and you're just playing leapfrog. You're just jumping from pad to pad, hoping that these things don't sink, and hoping that at one point you get to the other end of the island, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get there, you probably don't even realize you're there. You're still trying to look for these other pads, and you're still trying to figure out the next step. But like you look back and you look at me, and I'm 75 steps back, bro, because you took 3 steps for the past 25 days to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now I'm just in the distance, bro, like waving at you, and you don't realize how far you came because you've been grinding. You had your blinders on that whole time, and you're just trying to get to that next step, bro.
Yeah.
And I can your 5-year plan, like as long as you stick to what you're doing and double down on what you're good at, and you're getting better at what you're doing as you start uploading this every week, bro. So like I can't wait to see where you are in 5 years, because like I'm still convinced that within 3 it's going to be hard to get a hold of you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. If there's anything I can attest to, it's that having powerful and kind and understanding artists in your sphere will always keep you rejuvenated to do it. In 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years, I'm going to be doing me to the absolute extent, and I'm so grateful to have that chance, man.
For sure, man. And one thing, if I can give you any type of advice, bro, is like this relationship that you're in, this you know, you're about to be married, you're about to get married. Double down on you and her, bro, because like when it comes to me and Kaylin, man, like, you know, she's not only is she my number one fan, like I'm her number one fan, but we're able to balance each other out and lift each other up, man. And at the end of the day, you know, like again, the blinders. Like now that I'm married, like all the friction's gone. Right now, I can just see the finish line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that's the greatest moment, bro, because when the friction is nothing but a distraction and making it to the finish line. So once you find like the girl that just circumferences everything that you want, right? All you got to do is just fucking focus on that finish line and hold her hand on the way down, bro, because she's gonna be there. She's gonna be right beside you, bro, the whole entire time.
I appreciate that, man. You know, you feel like you can step into that role as a husband when you see friends around you that know what it means to be a good husband. And that's not talking about the good days. It's talking about the hard days, you know, where it's excruciating to go home and tell your partner that, like, we're close to that number, but we haven't hit that number yet for the month.
Yeah,
you know,
bro.
because we earn every paycheck. You know, as much as we want to think that the arts could be a white-collar pursuit, no, this is blue-collar, baby. You earn every dollar you make.
Yep.
You reinvest that in the person you are and the people you care about.
Yep.
And
Always,
if you
bro.
end up at the finish line one day, you hold your head high.
Absolutely, bro. And
Yeah.
that's the trick, man. You know, like me and Kaylin, there was a moment where I just got done with the Procter and Gamble stint. So like Procter and Gamble brought me on, and like they literally, like in this conversation, like you're part of the Procter and Gamble family now. Like there's big things that are gonna happen for you. And like that moment, I was like, holy shit, dude, this is the biggest thing in my entire life. Panned out to be fucking nothing, right? Like the whole P&G thing, just after 12 months, it just like magic dust, just
Yeah.
you know. But that's the roll of the dice, bro. But like,
Yeah, man, good things come and go. You know?
I had a grand finale. It was the finale party, right, of the 12 months that I was working with Procter and Gamble. I did a finale party. I invited everybody. I spent $600 on the big logo, the big graffiti that's on the outside of the building here. I spent $600 on that, which, by the way, that's worth a lot of money now, dude. Like that graffiti group is one of the top graffiti groups in the world. Like they're like up there with like the London Police and like all these people, and a couple of the guys actually live here in Cincinnati that I was friends with. So like he made that big poster or that big. It's like 4 foot by 12 foot. Thing's huge.
Solid wood too.
Yeah, bro. So anyways, like I made that. I paid $600 for it, and nobody showed up to the event. It rained that night, so everybody stayed in. And this was my last night at Procter and Gamble. Like I like, hey, this was my thing. Like if everyone shows up and this is like this big like finale, like maybe Procter and Gamble will take the brand and put it into their categories or the catalog. Yeah. No one showed up, and I came home to my girlfriend at the time, Kaylin, and I broke down, bro. Just started crying. Like I can't do it, man. Like the L's are too hard, right? Like you can take a W, and it feels like the best feeling on the planet because it was just me. I did this, right? But when I take an L, you got to take it to the chin, bro. And it's like you can't blame anybody but yourself. So like I gave up that night. I was done. Like, hey, I can't do this. Like I would rather work a 9 to 5 than work 7 days a week and feel like this, you know. So the next day I went in. And I've said this before in the podcast before, so sorry if you already heard it, but I was typing this fake message on Instagram. Hey, amazing party last night. Thanks for everybody that showed up. It was an amazing finale for the Procter & Gamble thing. Knowing in my heart that I just packed up this whole store and it's in the back of my car and I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore because these L's are fucking breaking my soul. And then all of a sudden I get a knock on the door, bro, like on my car window, and I look over and it's Emilio Estevez and Coach Bombay, bro. And I look over and I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, what are you doing? Like he just put his hands up like this. And so I open up my door, I hop out, and I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, bro, I came back to buy. He bought a hat the day before, and he bought just one hat, and I got a photo of him buying the hat, which was super cool. But he's like, I bought the hat, and like my whole family wants him. So I came back to buy him, and you're not here. And like I literally told him, I'm like, bro, like you have no idea that like the moment that you walked in, I gave up. Like I was done. Like everything about this company, I was giving up on. He prayed with me right there, bro. Like he hugged me and said, look, bring it in. Let's do this. Prayed with me, fucking like held me and said, you got this, dude. And then bought $300 in hats and merch off me right there. And like it's just one of those moments where like you don't realize how close you are to the finish line, bro. Like I gave up right there. Yeah. I was done. And then Emilio's like, bro, don't do it. You're like, I'm coming back to buy stuff for my brother and for my mom and my father. Like, don't give up on this shit. So like ever since then, it's like, all right, man, there's something bigger and better. And just as long as I've got $100 in my bank account to make it to the next day, the store is going to be open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was just one of those things, bro, where like you never know those moments, and I was so disheartened and I was ready to give up, and it was just like there's a bigger purpose, man. There's a bigger purpose, and for those moments you've gotta just realize that like I don't know if it's God, I don't know if it's an alien, but there's something out there that's telling me that like just fucking stay focused, bro, and just keep at it.
Yeah. And if it's nothing else, it's your gut telling you that you're capable of that greatness, man, and it is it's all of our callings to serve our greatest potential.
For sure,
you
bro.
know, and some people are crazier than others, and you know, even in those moments where you think about, you know, throwing it in, calling it a day, it is the person you are to wake back up and set that shit up in 2 hours and have the store open.
I'm
by
not
noon,
good at
man.
anything else, bro. What am I gonna do?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like,
what are you gonna do? You gonna start pushing papers somewhere?
No, I'm gonna play for drunker and drunker people at the same establishments you always find.
100%. I will lower the quality of my brain if I have to. I'm not gonna change categories.
Well, I ain't gonna itch at home. That's for fucking sure. Like I got this in my heart, man. I got to.
For sure, bro. So this live album, man. So is this going to be a CD purchase, an online purchase?
Yeah, it's gonna be available on all the streaming. This is my reaction to going through like my first legal trouble with my brand, having songs tied up. So once those songs got freed for whatever I wanted to do, I took that along with everything that I'd been writing that moment. You know, it was time to hit print. So I got my band together. I got my horn players together. We played a kick-ass album for 93 of our closest friends. I had.
I wish I would have been there, man, because Radio Artifact is such a dope spot, bro. Like I actually got to see my buddy Slim Gambill play there. Slim is one of the guitarists for Lady Antebellum.
Hell yeah.
So when he was in town, we got a chance to go out there and see him, and it was less than 93 people, bro. So you're doing something.
And it's a special room, like Respect Hustle, where it's very much due. That's a room that's going to propel this scene into better and better places. So for those artists out there listening, call Devin, book the time. Go rock that room with everything you got. Go on the podcast and the people around you that are kicking ass. It's like,
my man.
The only thing we can do is support the people that want to compete and play the game that we want to play, and y'all do that every single day, baby.
Always, man. That's what this entire store was built on, was collectives, bro. Just misfits and collectives, man. If you've yeah, and that's I've noticed that too, man. Which is funny. Like this place has become the place that people come to vent to. So like when people have issues going on in their life, they come here, and it's like, hey, we're here for it, bro. I'm here to listen.
Yeah,
right.
I'm here. Like you can come in here and you can take a couple. I'll take them on the chin for you.
Yeah, man. That's a champion.
And I think they're also looking for some kind of like guidance as well, because when they come in here and we're not therapists, we're just here to make clothes and like perpetuate ourselves further and build the collectives, but they come in here looking for like what's their next step, what are they doing next, because they obviously see we're making moves,
right?
And when I'm like hearing them like come at me is raw. It's a raw emotion, because they're coming in, we put off like we've already, we've made it in our lives. We're trying to just perpetuate ourselves further, and they're still finding their stride, right? So like at the end of the day, they see us as, hey, these guys are making moves. How can I make the moves to get to where they're at? So my problems can be alleviated by hearing out them. So they'll come in here and they'll vent to me, man. They'll come in and I'll be like, I'm just chilling, printing shirts. And they're like, I've got all these problems. How can you help? And I'm like, I don't know how I can help, but let me hear you out, man. I'm here.
So at least to give it to lend an ear in that.
Give me a hug, man. And I'll give them a hug. Talk to me, man, and we'll talk, and I'll print shirts, and it's just a think tank. We just sit here and think about their next steps. And I mean, I don't have any skin in the game. I'm just there, I'm one lily pad along the way with them. And and it feels great at the end of it. And when because you don't always hear the outcomes of the situations, they vent and then they go about their business. They go through their situation, and they might be successful or they might have lost. But sometimes they come in, they'll be like, hey, do you remember that situation? Guess what happened? She's my girlfriend now, or my mom's good, or this is happening. Yeah. And you're like, man, you went through a whole bunch while I was here printing shirts. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes you feel like some type of way, and it kind of motivates you on the back end of things. You're like, man, they're getting it. Like, maybe I should step my game up a little bit, because I don't know what I'm missing out on because I'm not stepping up right now. Let's step up.
Yeah. Well, you make a good point though. It's like the blinders, man. It's like while you had them on doing your thing, the world kept turning.
Turning. Yeah.
People been doing a lot of things, and that's just the way it goes.
A lot happens in 24 hours.
For sure.
A lot happens in your day. Like, yeah. So when's your next show? Let's get to that. When's your next performance?
When's the album come out?
That's what I want to know. That's another on July 15th.
July 15th. Okay.
I'm just starting to get like the final mixes and masters done. It's gonna come out with a full video of the entire show, so you can watch it in its entirety, feel that whole thing.
Okay.
The biggest thing for me is that people know that like my heart and soul is with getting up there and screaming on a mic and showing you that I will sweat to death for you. You know what I mean?
That is
so like,
dope, bro.
Hopefully it comes off well. We are on this tour promoting the album right now, so we're gonna be on a southern run this week. We're gonna go Lexington, Louisville, Nashville. Next month we're doing
is that because you've been doing a lot of stuff with Tin Roof, right?
Yeah, so I'll play the entire Tin Roof circuit. I mean, they got
is that what you're doing down there? Those three?
Two of them are going to be Tin Roofs.
Okay.
We'll also be doing like the Kansas City and the St. Louis Tin Roofs coming up soon. I'll be playing the Delray Beach.
Let me know when you go to Kansas City, man. One of my best friends lives out there. He's the dopest dude on the planet, man.
Gang, I would love that.
Dopest dude on the planet.
I just routed that. I got a slot at Summerfest.
Hey.
Yeah, I took on a slot.
Summerfest?
Yeah, Summerfest up in
Cool.
Milwaukee, so I'll do that, and I'll go to Kansas City. So hopefully I can link
shit,
up with some
bro.
friends.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a whole list of where you're gonna go, man. Because I want to try to catch as many of these out of town shows.
I would love that, man.
I want to see how you work with a new group of peeps,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
I like fresh ears,
Right.
baby.
I know you do, man, and that's the thing. Like I'm sure the way you play and the way that you own when you're on stage. There's no doubt that you just don't gain that many like followers, bro. Because like you're that type of guy that if you would open for Jason Mraz, like half of Jason Mraz's group would be standing in your line going, "Holy shit, bro! Like you're the next big thing. Like I can't wait to see what you do." You know what I mean? Like bro, you're 25, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
Like,
I got a lifetime of joy ahead of me in that, but you never know how many people you're going to catch in that net. But again, it's 1-to-1. You know, you make a friend at a time, and you hold up your friends that inspire you in that. It's like, yeah.
That's how you're gonna go further, bro. Because you make sure that every person's accounted for. You know, you don't. It's not like oh hey, you're a fan. Oh, good to see you, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's the same thing with us. Like every single person that likes the Instagram page, like they're a part of the tribe now. You know what I mean? And we make sure that they're noted and they feel like they're a part of the group now, man. And that's the one thing that's gonna go a lot further than the norm is what you do on the day to day, which is just you're yourself, bro. You're just being you, and you're just you know letting it fly. Hey, I appreciate you coming to the show. You know, you're such like this humble, like soft-spoken human being that like people want to gravitate towards you and they want to see you win, man. Like I've loved you since I first met you, bro. And like
And you treat me like it, man. You made my life easier, you know, and then all the things you provide here, and especially to be able to come over and chat with you. It's like, you know, you've always treated me like family.
I appreciate your bullshit. I mean, I print your shirts and we have a good time and talk.
And it makes me a lot of fucking money, believe me, dog. Like I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't a good thing. You know, people love those
Facts,
designs.
yeah.
100%. And that's the one thing that I want to make sure that I can keep fulfilling for you, bro. Is like is that a new tattoo on your inside of your arm? That's
So, some of these might be
dope,
new.
bro.
I'm planning on getting the next one is going to be Our Lady of Guadalupe on the whole inner bicep.
Oh
'Cause
shit!
I love doing the individual diamonds because like that's the best real estate you got is the arms, man. So
Yeah.
like don't burn it all in one piece. So like I'll do like the whole inner bicep as this one, and then like go something else. Maybe one day get my elbow done if I have the nuts for it. I mean that's painful shit, man. That kind of freaks me out. So
Yeah, that spider web has to be like done in a certain way where you're missing all like the
all the
hard
sweet
parts.
spots. I've heard the pitch is harder than the elbow, but I don't think none of that's pleasant. The first one I ever got was my side done, and it's
I
like
bet you the size gotta be worse than the elbows.
I think all of it just makes you aware like what's going on in that process where it's like, okay, someone's putting ink
That's a
deep
funny
enough
analogy.
in some skin layers that you get to have this piece of art for the rest of your life.
Right.
But when you feel something shake your whole body like that, it's very cathartic and it's very euphoric and it's got a lot to it, man.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's just another part of art, bro. That's
Yeah.
all it is, man. And you gotta appreciate it like for what it is, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I got all these dermatologists telling me I got nice skin, so I'm gonna use this shit. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. So July is when the album's coming
Yeah,
out.
July 15th, we're on tour the entire summer promoting it. We're in all of our main markets every 4 months, so we will be back to see you. And in the meantime, I got weekly shows coming out. I got my songwriter night that I do once a month. So I'll keep pumping it, man.
And then if they want to catch the Monday,
All that's just best found at Matt Waters Music wherever you go. If you go to my Linktree, linktree.mattwatersmusic, you're going to get the latest episodes, all my streaming stuff, places where you can financially support the merchandise, all that.
dope. Yeah, that link tree is what I'm finding is super valuable, bro. Like,
yeah, man. It does a nice job of tracing it, too, where it's like I can know when you clicked where from and where you went. And just for understanding your audience, like, I had a guy come up to me the other day. He goes, "Make your podcast 20 minutes again." I was like, "Now that's some straight up feedback, but most of the time you don't get that kind of shit."
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's funny,
You
man.
got to be able to think through the conversion of where your fans came and what they wanted from you in that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we've been getting carried away. Like the 3-hour podcast that we're doing. Actually, we're on like 2 hours and
45 minutes.
So we're close to it, man. It's like how do you talk to somebody for 3 hours and like to keep other people interested, right? But it's like that's the point of podcast, man. Is like if you have a good conversation, it's just going to keep going, man. And
Yeah.
we're at 2:45 now, but you and I spoke for another 45 minutes, like straight before we even hit the record button.
Totally. And within that, time flies by because if you're invested in the conversation, people feel that. It's like, I don't care that we're, 2 hours in, 20 minutes in, and 3 hours in. I care that you were there for it. You know what I
Always.
mean? You gave me that.
Yeah, for sure. You got like we were talking earlier. You got to be in the moment, man. You can't be like spaced out or like worried about something else. You got to be here and you got to be in the moment and actually.
I've been drinking
listen.
margaritas for hours, dude. I'm so spaced
You know
out.
what? And
like-
that's I also meant to say something because you're a half hour late for getting here, and then you show up with a to-go cup from Cancun, and I was like, oh, okay,
Right, it makes sense.
I get it now.
My
Right.
fiance told me she was hungry. I was like, let's go bang down some margs. And
Hey.
then I was like, I'm pretty sure I got to be there at 7 if you want to hang out and have another one. And then I was like, oh, I'm late. I got to run, baby. So
you're
we
good,
did,
man.
Yeah, man, go on your time. Live your best life at that same time.
Yeah, bro.
But we make the podcast and we do this for people who do care. If you're not interested in tuning in, that's okay. But we do it for the people who do, and that's why I made music. I do it for the people who love it, not who hate it or criticize
Yeah.
it. You do it for you
For
just
sure.
do it for
This
who
is
love
your-
it.
this is your time.
Right, exactly. And in the lengthy podcast, I see that as a total positive because we don't need you don't have to tune in for the whole podcast. But if you tune in for 20 minutes of time, maybe that's the 20 minutes that changes your trajectory as an artist or a presenter or whatever you do. And all of a sudden now you're at a whole new realm because you've tuned into the podcast and you've learned something.
Totally.
And to me that's worth every minute we spend on here, really.
Well, and I enjoy the companionship of listening to a podcast while I do some
Yep.
menial bullshit. Like, I just got a new Mac. I'm going to go tear up my studio for the next, 5 to 6 hours.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm going to listen to some bullshit. And I might catch 10% of it. But it's like, at least I had some conversation to keep me up and going. And occasionally, like, my work is listening to music. So if I listen to it, I want to listen to it in depth. I want to close my eyes and I want to think about the compression on the snare and why he played that bass line versus the bass line, or why she's singing this line versus that. So like when I just want to tune out and have some shit going on, I go to the podcast world. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to provide that for my friends too. Like binge it in your meantime.
Yeah,
I don't care
yeah.
if you're driving and you just need a friend, or if you heard
Yeah,
something
right.
on the internet where you just want to have it.
For
Yeah.
sure, bro. That's exactly how it is, and that's the nice thing about being on the internet is you can just plug and play whenever you want to, man. It's not like
Yeah.
you got to listen to it right now, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
So we recorded this as well, so we'll upload it to our Facebook and all that stuff later on, so we can keep it in the realm for good, man.
And if you don't edit that shit, I will, and I'll make sure you get tagged in all those posts.
Hey, yeah, you know what? That's one thing I want to do. I want to start being able to give out the like a flash drive of the episode tonight.
That's
so,
a good call.
So, yeah, so
or
you
a
can take
Google
it home.
Drive link. Just hit me with something that like I can download, and then I'm gonna go in and clip some scenes out of stuff I like that we talked about. And I think, when the best thing
That's
that
smart.
Instagram's done the last couple of years is put up these collaborator posts where you and I can share
Yeah,
the same
split
algorithmic
screen.
post. Well, not just split screen, more like we both share the same post as one piece. If you accept this, it's going to go on both our pages, so we're going to share views. We're going to share
Oh,
comments.
I
We're going to
didn't
share
know
shares. So when you post something, but you want to have your artist still have some mutual stake in it, get it posted to their page, put it on as a collaborator, and we're going to be able to piggyback on all that stuff.
Dope. All right, I've got some learning to do, bro, for real.
Always learning, bro, every single day.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to like redo my own website or just put the clothes on Instagram, man. But
Don't
see.
trust any platform to do the work that you could do on your own server.
my man.
Big facts.
Yeah,
Never.
we're already gonna
Website
we
it
already
is.
MySpace,
decided the website.
MySpace disappeared overnight. No one saw that shit coming.
Yeah, it's true.
Very true,
It's
bro.
true. Yeah, MySpace was my thing, man. I used to like
Brutal.
I used to like get on those MySpace trains where you were like at the top of it, and everyone had to add each person to the top in order to be a part of it, and everyone post picture. Like
I don't
it's
even
the way
know
they-
what you're talking about.
I have no idea either,
He doesn't
bro.
know. He doesn't know either. So there was these MySpace trains where you were like the let's call it the famous in black train or whatever. Like everyone wears black and everyone's in music and whatever. So you have to add each person in the train basically, and everyone became friends in that train, and you been a part of it, so everyone added you. It was a way to get friends on MySpace. It was like the bulletin boards, but it was just
kinda.
Yeah. It was a unique thing that I figured out early on, and it was just I got a lot of MySpace friends, and it was fun. And all of a sudden, my feed was filled with people I didn't know, but like it was a networking thing because I had bands and stuff I was promoting at the time. But like MySpace made it easy. It was just a different era.
If there's anything I'm taking from all of the social medias, it's like, don't automate any of your messaging. You know, like no one wants to see no one wants to get an email that lets them know that you don't give a shit. No one wants to get a DM that lets them know that you don't give a shit.
Right.
You know, reach out to the individuals that give you the time of day, and don't read the comments. You know what I mean? Just flat out don't. It's gonna hurt too much. You know?
Right. 100%, bro.
Yep.
Bro, I am super excited about this lighter. Not only
I've been using it, dog. If it goes dead on you, my beat.
No, you
it's
know
my
what? You know
butane.
what? So the best part is I started to peel the back label off, but then I stopped because I was like, wait a minute, bro. Like Matt's been picking at this, right? So like I need to leave this on. And as soon as it's done and worn out, I'm just gonna hang on to it, bro. You know what I mean? Because these are expensive too. I've actually thought about making native ones, and I've even done them where it's just a sticker over top.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, like these cost about $3 each, and it's just like I can't sell them for $5.
So
You know what
I
I
do
mean?
sell them for $5,
Yeah.
and you make them for like $1.25. And you know what? I always
$1.25. This is a real Bic.
Real Bics. I'll
Alright.
send you the website. It's worthwhile if you want to do it. But you know, when you talk
I
about
went to
the
the wrong
company,
website.
when you talk about
Really,
the
yeah.
company Bic, they call them recession proof because you're always going to need lighters. You're always going to need pens. The best thing about that is it's a utility. There's a lot of clubs I play at where the staff smokes. The first people I see is the staff I set at my table. Someone doesn't have a lighter for the night. They're going to buy a lighter regardless what the price is.
Right.
You know, and even if we have to barter a little bit, I give them a little better deal. My profit margin isn't the end all be all. The end all be all is I end up in your pocket
For a long time.
and until you wear that thing out or you lose it, you know, and it's a conversation.
Or till somebody
starter.
steals it, and then they
And it
start
goes on
rocking.
to the next,
Gangster.
Yep.
never ending.
As long as they're not stealing from me, I love when people steal my shit. You know what I mean?
right.
For sure.
Yeah,
bro.
and the thing is like the lighter world is like smoke circles and everything that people do.
Yeah.
You pass the lighter along, and some people are like, use my lighter, check this out. Like,
Yes.
it's kind of an excitement thing because it's got another brand on it that you're excited about. It passes around a smoke circle, and usually people that go to smoke circles do multiple. So before you know it, it's
So it's a social environment, you know. Even if I'm not
Yep.
someone that's actively smoking, you know, like I enjoy having one on me to offer somebody in that moment where they're looking for one, and that is the ultimate pass off where I'll find myself standing outside of a club, like I was standing out there in Baltimore, Maryland. It's like talk to somebody, they need a lighter, and I hand that to them, and I tell them what I do, and I walk away, and they're holding that, and forever they have a memento and a reason to connect
Yeah.
back.
100%, bro. It's super genius, man. It's super, and the fact that it's like that you can't pick it off too. Like that was the one thing about the ones that I was doing. Like I was literally like I measured it to where it was exactly the right sticker height, and so I was able to get full colored images on there, not one color. But then you wrap it around, and then you know on the back side it's always wrapped over just like the regular things are. But you know people start peeling them apart, bro. So
Yeah, man, it's not worth it like that. I'll send you the website. You'll love it.
I'm in, bro.
yeah. Let's go.
All right, man.
All right,
Well, so if anybody wants to catch this this episode, we're gonna it's gonna be recorded and then re-downloaded to all of our stuff because I heard that it was our internet was
Yeah,
fucking glitchy
yeah.
or something.
Word. So full integrity will go up there. I'll download from there and get pumping.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah.
everybody, this is my guy Teddy Ruxpin, man. What's going on, my guy? So this has been my best friend since I was probably 6 years old, dude. And he's been sitting behind the counter for since we've opened the store. And he actually asked to be on the podcast today. He wanted to be on the podcast because he wanted to show everybody his dope ass hoodie that he's got.
Gang.
Peep
Yeah.
that, bro. Like
Peep it.
What other Teddy Ruxpin's got a custom hoodie and his own hat. That hat doesn't fit me, player. That only fits Teddy Ruxpin.
Goes hard.
Right? Yeah, bro. This is my guy. So he'll be down here on the podcast for the next couple months because he wants to hang out down here. But all right, everybody. Well, It is.
Yeah.
It is 10:21, and I am trying to get out of the doghouse because every Tuesday I've got to go back home and apologize for how much fun I had
Right.
while
right.
I was down here. But
Hey.
Matt, dude, I appreciate you for coming down and
Love
being
you,
a part
brother.
of this. I love you too, dude. I can't wait to start producing merch, and I think that's a good idea, man. I think like you and I have got enough ideas where we can just pump out a shirt for like Raleigh, North Carolina, where we only do 15 of them. Like, you're going to sell all 15. If you think you're going to sell 30, let's print 20.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Be conservative.
Let's make it so exclusive, and let's make it to a point where, okay, so if we can sell 20 at 25, that's $500. So you know that going to these places, you've got an extra 500 that you're capitalizing on at least. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you want to make more shirts than that, obviously, I'm not sure how much you
Totally.
make when it comes
but
to
it's
it.
nice to do it in exclusive ways, and the best thing that y'all do is we can do one of them. We can do
Right.
5 of them. They're all going to be one of a kind.
Right, bro. One of the best moments I had in my entire life, I printed merch for Ryan Cabrera. We did 100 shirts for him, and he opened up for O-Town, a couple guys from the NSYNC, Mark McGrath, and so he was the first dude.
Sugar Ray.
Yeah, Sugar Ray.
Jesus.
So he was the first dude that opened up for him, and I printed the merch. And like I told you, 16 by 20 is what I do. And then O-Town had like a 10 by 10, and then NSYNC had a standard shirt, right? And I don't know if Mark McGrath had any clothes up there, but anyways, after Ryan got off stage, like I went down there, there was a whole line for like everybody's trying to buy merch. So I dropped the merch off up there, and then I went to my seat, and then Ryan played, and then Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC got on the microphone after he played, and he was like, "Hey, if anybody wants any of Ryan's merch, it's available at the merch booths." And then he goes, "What? He sold out? Cabrera sold out already?"
Hey.
He goes, I guess you can't get any of his merch." And I'm telling you, bro, like he had more merch than O-Town, Mark McGrath, and NSYNC up there, and he sold out before they were all the same price, because you know that's how it goes.
Yeah.
They all got a
Price match.
price match. So they're all the same price, but Cabrera sold out like that. And
That's killer.
bro. And it's because I did that '90s logo, but that 16 by 20 just kills it, bro. People
Yeah.
they can't fuck with it, man.
That's what the small details get you, baby. You deserve nothing but success, my friend. I appreciate that you share it with us and put it in all of our lives, man.
My man, I appreciate you for,
Yeah, we gotta
for
get
helping
a-
ending the podcast. Like
we need
you
to get
did.
a night with Matt Waters, the Matt Waters experience at Madison Live, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
play your house. Let me stay on your big ass bedroom.
Rooftop show. with
yeah,
our-
we'll make
with the
that happen,
stars.
bro. We'll
Man, dude.
we'll make merch for it, like
Let's
a
do it.
one night only merch.
Yeah,
Let's bang it out,
straight
baby.
up, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
All right,
Peace
buddy.
out.
I love you, man. We'll talk
Yep.
to you next time in another episode of the PowWow. It's your boy Jay Banks, AI, and Matt Waters, Kurt, B-Rad. We got them all here
B-Rad.
still, man. I appreciate you guys for sticking
Yeah,
around.
this
It's
is squad. This is
10:25.
squad. This is behind the scenes. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and see y'all next time.
Hey, we're out of here.
Bye.
Late as fuck. I gotta pee so bad.
Later.
I'm surprised.
Yee.
Everyone else didn't miss or something. I got pissed too.
My phone's dead as fuck. I tried reaching for a water. Y'all pulling empties in there. Y'all savage. Filled with empties. Hilarious.